So, hello, ladies. Thank you for joining the Unleash the Funds Masterclass. I'm excited to spend this time with you. I'm grateful that we get to serve you in this capacity and that you have entrusted us with something so absolutely valuable, your time. So, before we get started, let me ask you, who here would like to unleash 50 to $100,000 of other people's money so that you can invest in real estate deals or in your business and live the life you've always dreamed of? If that's you, shout, "That's me." Shout, "That's me." Yes. And who here would like to, for me to show you how to do that in like 2 to 6 months, right? Like sooner rather than later without being a financial guru. If that's you, type yes in the chat. All right. So today, is it okay if I show you a plan, right, to create wealth and have lenders like lined up, ladies, and ready to give you their money for you to invest in your business and your real estate deals? Is that okay? If that's okay, say that sounds real, real good, Tiffany. So again, thank you, ladies, for spending your evening with me. Welcome to this live experience. I will be hosting this masterclass, and I cannot wait to introduce you to my co-host. So again, my name is Tiffany Forrest. I help business owners, investors, builders, developers finance their projects without bank hassle or being overwhelmed. I'm a commercial underwriter by trade. I've been in the finance industry for well over 20 years. I've approved loans ranging from $40,000 all the way up to $100 million, literally approving thousands and thousands of loans. And today, I'm going to show you how to get your loan approved, how to unleash the funds. I'm an elite speaker, the CEO and founder of Willpower Consulting, the co-founder of the Wealthy Women's Circle, and I'm excited to serve you today. Ladies, I also have a co-host. Michelle V is in the house. Michelle is a serial entrepreneur. She's the founder and CEO of Signature Stages. She is a certified elite speaker, a copywriter, an MC, an event consultant. She's the co-founder of the Wealthy Women's Circle, an industry expert in tech. She helps businesses, get this, ladies, she helps businesses turn their unleashed funds into $1 million machines. She is well trusted in this industry, and she is my business partner, y'all. She knows exactly how to unleash the funds. Everyone, welcome Michelle V. Listen, I hope that you have your evening tea, your pencil, your notepad. We're going to do everything we can to deliver, right? And some may ask, listen, what is this like unleashing of the funds? Like, what is this? Is this a scam? Is this a get rich quick scheme? Well, first, I want to say this is not a scam, right? But you better hope it is a get rich quick scheme, because if you notice, most of us are on the get rich slow scheme. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, right? But we're going to teach you the right way, how to leverage other people's money the right way. Someone say, the right way, the right way. All right, so we are determined that this isn't just going to be another webinar where you jump on, they spin a bunch of stories, they throw some confetti around, and you're left wondering, what did I get? Did I get anything out of it, right? This masterclass, on this masterclass tonight, we are committed to have you walk out with some real information, right? Information that you can implement right now. In fact, if I can tell you this, ladies, on our first masterclass, one of the ladies who attended messaged us and she said, "Thank you for the information. I just unlocked $75,000 in 24 hours. So is it okay if we share that kind of information with you all, right? That kind of information. But in this masterclass, we just don't want you to leave with information. This masterclass is about transformation, right? How many of you want to look back on 2023 and say, that was the turning point in my life? Listen, if you want real transformation, I'm going to tell you a little secret to get it, right? So who wants to hear the secret? If you want to hear the secret, just wave your hand if you want to hear the secret. All right, so research shows if you listen to a masterclass, you retain 10 to 15% of information, right? But if you write things down, if you write it down, you retain 30 to 35% of information. That's it. 30 to 35% information. That's taking notes, that's writing down, that's listening. However, ladies, your retention ratio goes to 70 to 80%. Listen, if you do something or if you say something. If you do something or if you say something, your retention ratio goes to 70 to 80%. So go crazy in the chat, right? Go crazy in the chat if you want real lasting transformation. So yes, we welcome a little talk back church in this live experience. Is it okay if we get some talk back church in this experience? And speaking of talk back church, just to let you all know, I come from a marketplace ministry background. I've been blessed to be able to serve this community for the last 2 years. And some of you already know we will reference scripture from time to time. You don't have to be a believer in the Bible to be a part of this group. However, this is how we believe, so we do reference scriptures. So again, we welcome you to this live event. Michelle, we have so much information to cover tonight. Who is this information for and what highlights can they look forward to?
Yeah, thank you for asking, Tiffany. So I want to welcome you too. I just was like, yeah, I wish so badly that we could be in the room with you because, whenever you're in the room with people, I don't know if anybody else is a hugger, but I am a hugger. I was just like, want to go around and hug, like meet all of you, talk to you, get to hear your stories. So please feel free to share in the chat. This is we're not going to share the chat or anything. Like, this is a close community, and we want to make it feel like you're here, and we really want it to be like we're serving each other and really conversations going on here. So thank you so much for coming, because tonight we're going to go over, Tiffany, the Wealthy Woman's Blueprint. This is the step-by-step system that we use to help our clients create financial freedom forever, the financial freedom that they deserve, right? So we're going to go over that 4-step process that we have. We're also going to talk within all of that, how to get other people's money to fund your business or your real estate deals, have lenders lined up, desiring to work with you. Tiffany's going to tell you those secrets about that. We're going to break down all the steps that we just said about how to unleash $50,000 to $100,000 to help you start or scale your business. Give me some love in the chat if you want any of this stuff for you. Okay. We're also going to talk about the number one thing that you have to have in your business right now to safeguard yourself and your business and your family. Now, ladies, this is something, actually, I just talked to a woman who we worked with recently, and she invited like 10 people to this class tonight because she's like, oh my gosh, I did not know this. And now I wish I'd known this. So I'm telling everybody so that they've got this information, because this is something that every single business needs right now to safeguard your business. And it's something that 80%, get this, I looked this up, 80% of businesses don't have, but desperately need. Okay, so you are in the right place here. And we're going to show you how to do all that without having a perfect credit score or burying yourself under a mountain of debt. Let's not make things worse. Yes, right? So who is this event for? This is for you. If you're the kind of woman who dreams of starting a business, but you need the funds to get started. Or you're the woman who wants to invest in real estate, but you can't figure out how to get your down payment and the first funds to really get things going. This is for you if you're somebody who is tired of the 9-to-5 grind and you want to be your own boss. And this is for you if you want to go to the next level in your business, but you haven't quite figured out how to have the funds to get there. Maybe you want to invest in ads or a coach or something else that's going to really take you to the next level, but you just don't have the cash on hand. And this is for you if you are sick of sitting on the sidelines for way too long, watching everybody else build, and you know that this is your time. If that's you, shout, that's me in the chat. If any of that's you, then yes. me, Victoria. Yes. So I want to bring it down a little bit though, because Tiffany and we're in it for the long game. Like, we genuinely care about you. We genuinely, like, we sat around and we're like, what do these women really need? What do we wish that we knew whenever we started? And so I want to share with you our mission. We are out to create a wave of wealthy women who are living their God-given purpose, making a huge impact in their lives, in their communities, and in the world without worry or constraint about money. Because the truth is, we've got so many amazing people. I'm going to tell you later, the members of our Facebook group, the members of the community that we created, they have such big hearts. There's so many things that they want to do. And I know you are those same kind of ladies, right? You have so many things deep inside. You're like, if I just had money, not only am I going to help myself, but I'm going to change the world. And we need you because change is coming. So if that's you, type "that's me" in the chat. Declare it. That's me. I'm part of that wave of wealthy women.
Yes, it's me. That's so awesome. Ladies, this masterclass is going to be so awesome. It is my hope, right, that once we get clear on these things, that you'll be able to like move forward with a strategy, with a plan, with a blueprint, so that you can ultimately live the life you desire. So Michelle and I provide consulting to a lot of amazing clients. Some are amazing investors, developers all across the nation. We're partnering with top leaders in real estate and business. And what we found is that even many of the gurus who are making like 100,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars, right, in their businesses, they don't have some of the key information that we're going to share with you tonight. And you may ask why? Why don't they have this information? Part of it is because the information is not easily obtainable, right? People hold on to this information. They're not just giving it out to everybody. It's almost like you got to know somebody, or you got to pay 25,000 or 100,000 to get in the right rooms, or like maybe you have to be a part of like an old boys network, or inner circle of some sort in order to get the information, or you have to work in the industry where the information is accessible, which is how we got the information. But today, ladies, right, we're going to share some of this information with you, so please lean in and glean for free, right, for free.
Absolutely, Tiffany. I can't tell you how much I've learned from Tiffany just by working with her as a partner. I feel like I'm in the inner circle right here. And she just knows so much. We're going to share all of that with you because I was just talking, I was so inspired. I was just talking to my mom a few months ago. She lives in North Carolina. I don't see her too often. So we're just sitting, chatting at the table. And you guys, I love my mom. Anybody here love your mom? My mom was a single mom. She worked her butt off. Those moms, we women in general, whether you're a mom or not, right? You work your butt off for everybody else. If that's true, right? That's true. Yeah, right? You work your butt off for everybody else. We take care of everybody, right? And she did that. She got divorced whenever I was only 8 years old. She got in a divorce. She took herself through college, paying the bills. I remember times she wouldn't even eat because we didn't have enough money. We didn't have enough food. So she wouldn't even eat. She sacrificed everything, got a good job. She's been working at that job over 25 years, slowly working her way up the ladder. She's been investing in her 401k, doing all of the things. Do you know what I'm saying? Anybody else here feel like I'm doing all of the things that they told me to do? And as I was sitting next to her, across the table from her, she said to me, "Michelle, I'm worried because I don't have enough money for my retirement." This is a woman like you who sacrificed everything for her family and her career, and she's been doing all the things they told her to do. But she's like, I don't know if I have enough money for retirement. I don't know if I'm going to be able to take care of me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to take care of you in the future. And she heard about this thing called real estate, and so she got herself a couple of properties, but she didn't know the wealthy woman system we're about to share you today. So she emptied her savings account in order to get those properties. And she said, honestly, I'm worried because if you or your sister or your brother, if anything happens or if anybody needs me, I can't help you. Right? And this is the state that we find so many women in, right? We love our families. We want to provide for them. You're doing everything you can, sometimes working multiple jobs, being in the same company for years and years and years. Maybe you've started your business knowing that, if I have my business, then that's a way that I can accelerate my revenue. And you're putting in, if you're a business owner, you're putting in like 80 hours, 60 hours, 80 hours, doing everything you can to get it started. And still, we find that women are in this space where it's not enough. So you're living paycheck to paycheck. You don't have a legacy yet. You're not ready for retirement. And what if you get sick? What if something happens to you? And it reminds me of this story that I heard once about a fly. And I don't know if anybody else does fly watching, but whenever you're sitting there next to your window and maybe a fly or a bug has gotten in and they're buzzing next to the window and they can see the freedom on the other side of the window. I got a window right here, right? They can see the freedom on the other side of the window, but the fly doesn't understand how to get there. And it just keeps flapping its wings, and trying to break through the glass because it can see on the other side that there is freedom. It's beautiful out there. There's miles to just roam around and fly free. And it can see that, but it doesn't know how. And probably all those other little flies are like, yeah, just keep pushing hard. You're going to make it. Just work real hard. Just do all the things that you're supposed to do and you'll get outside. But you are smarter than the fly, right? Whenever you're looking at that fly, you can see most of the time, it's like the window is open right there, or there's a door open right there, just a few wing beats away. And if you would just stop working so hard, there is an open door. Tiffany, there's an open door. But the fly is working too hard to see it. Who in here feels like, you're tired of working hard? You're tired of doing all the same things over and over and over again. You've been working for 20 years. Everyone's been depending on you. You've given everything you got, and you're not at that place that you want to be yet. If that's you, I want you to know that you're not alone. That there's so many women that are in that same boat, that they have that same story. And the truth is, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's turbulent times are coming, right? So it's not just that our system's kind of broken. I'm tired, Katrina said. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And it's not just that our system's broken and that we're kind of like stuck in this old way of doing things, the 9 to 5 that's not giving us what we want. But the truth is times are changing. And recently I heard about this book. I was listening to a podcast. They were talking about this book called Generations. And it was written over 25 years ago. And it breaks down U.S. history it looks back at the last 300 years of U.S. history or whatever, and it breaks it down into 20-year periods. And there's this predictable cycle that happens every 20 years that they can predict. So much so that this book was written 25 years ago, remember? But they predicted the pandemic and the war in Ukraine. And according to this book, we are in the fourth turning, which means that rebirth is like the last turning. So rebirth is about to happen. And I don't know about any of you who have given some birth. I don't know if you've given some birth, but it's painful, right? It's the time of war. It's the time of revolution. And I don't know if you've seen the signs coming, but I do. There is a shift happening, right? The economy is changing. We're about to have a revolution in politics, a revolution in education, the revolution in environmental revolution, AI is starting to take over. There is a storm coming. And I'm like, if Jesus ain't coming in the next 20 years, I swear, like, that's what it looks like to me. I don't know about you, right? But I'm sorry if I'm screaming at you. I just realized how loud I'm getting. But like, turbulent times are coming. Are we right? Am I right? Turbulent times are coming, and unprecedented times are coming, and we have got to be in that army of wealthy women who are prepared, who are ready for these times that are coming. Am I right, Tiffany?
Yes, it's almost like, we're going through economic downturns, right? We're literally on the brink of like recession, But did you know that more millionaires are born in a recession? But what if this time, right? What if this time, with all this stuff going on, you were ready? Like, what if a stream of, properties came about or foreclosure opportunities presented themselves? Like, what if you were ready, right? What if you were ready? What if business opportunities started flooding in? What if you were ready? Right, if you were ready, kind of standing there in position, ready to kind of step out on faith. I love what Dr. Martin Luther King says. He says, faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. I love how Myron Golden says, he says, now faith is where I stand while I hope for things I cannot see. Right? This is what I say. I say faith is the preparation for your foundation. If you stay ready, you'll be in position for elevation, right? You have to stay ready. You have to be ready. You have to be standing in position. And when opportunity comes, when that door opens up, right? You can't be that fly fluttering its wings. You have to be ready to go through the door, right? Are you ready to go through the door?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
So good. Such a good question. Are you ready? Right? I think if I'm totally honest, I'm not as ready as I want to be. Excuse me. I'm not as ready as I want to be. And we talked about those turbulent times, but I don't know if you've noticed, but groceries have doubled in the last few years. Housing prices have doubled. Gas has pretty much doubled. My power bill, literally, guys, get this. My power went up by 40% last year. My power bill increased.
Mm.
And I don't know about you, but has your income doubled? Has anybody's income doubled? Just give me a real, like, wave your hand if you're like, whoop, I doubled my income. Right? Especially if you're on the 40-year plan. Has anybody heard of the 40-year plan? This is the plan that you were sold when you were like 5 years old. Okay, guys, here's the 40-year plan. Let me show you. You're going to spend the first 25 years in school. I wish. I wish my income had doubled. You're going to have to spend the first 25 years in school. Okay. So you're going to be making nothing for a while. You're living with your parents. Then you're going to go to school. You're probably going to invest somewhere between $100,000, $200,000 in college, paying for all that stuff that's going on in college so that you can get a good paying job. Okay. So then you're going to start your good paying job and it's going to start around 65,000 a year. That's average. 65, maybe, maybe 65 a year, right? And then you're paying off all that debt. So you get started, right? Woohoo. So very quickly in the first little bit, you're like moving up the ladder, your income's going up. You're like, oh yeah, this looks good, right? This looks good. And then around 40, age 35 or 40, guess what? Most people hit a plateau. And for the next 25, 30 years until they retire, they don't make much more money than they did a while ago. And on top of that, we just talked about inflation, prices are doubling, things are going crazy. I know my husband's like, why can't we stay on budget? Why does our savings account keep going down? Like, why is it that we're not doing this? And I said, well, I don't know about you, but have you seen the prices? Like, we got to do something different, right? We had this conversation a few years ago. So this is what happens when you're on the 40-year plan, and then you get to retire. Okay. And then your income got cut in half whenever you retire, and then you just got to scrape and save, do your thing. So anybody here know what I'm talking about? You're on the 40-year plan. Who else has been sold that plan, right? So you're going to scrape by with half your income. Who wants that plan? That's the get poor quick plan. That's what I'm going to call that. That's the get poor quick plan. And who here knows that it's time for another plan? We need a new plan, something that's going to create real wealth with exponential growth, something that's not going to plateau right here, but genuinely you have the opportunity to keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. And is it okay so that you can outpace inflation, and you finally can actually maybe retire and actually do something fun whenever you retire instead of just kind of like sit in your house because you don't have money to do anything? You know what I say? Is it okay if we talk about that plan today? If that's okay with you, Ty, that's okay, Michelle. Show me the plan. Show me the plan.
Show me the plan. Yes, show me the plan.
So we're going to teach you the wealthy woman's plan.
Yes.
Okay. That's how to leverage other people's money, how to stop trading your time for money, leverage other people's money so that you can make their money work for you, so that you can finally start really investing, seeing your money grow. You finally get to invest in your business, see your business grow. You've got the money for the down payment. You finally got this plan together so that you can leave your 9 to 5. You finally have a plan, cash in hand, things are going great. You finally have a plan so that you know, I can retire with confidence. Not only that, I can retire and then I can I can go on cruises, I can help other people, I can invest in that nonprofit that I want to hang out with, and then I'm going to have time to actually hang out at the nonprofit or contribute in other ways that I want to create. So if that is what you want, shout, that's me.
Yes.
That's
I love
me.
this. Dee says, amen to a new plan. Micah says, show me the plan, right? Shannon says, show me the plan. Veronica, show me the plan. Show me the plan. Yes. He says, that's me. That's so good. And this helps you become, like Michelle was saying, more of the confident woman, right? Like this plan is going to help you have the skills and the know-how that you need. It's going to help you create that life of wealth that you need. You won't be that fly fluttering, right? You'll be free. You'll be out of that like 9 to 5 grind. You'll have all the money that you need to get started, right? And you won't have a mountain of personal debt that is basically ruining your personal credit, right? And ultimately, you'll be proud of yourself and your family will be proud of you and you'll be able to like break generational cycles and have a positive influence, right? Yeah. All right. So we wanted to take a pause right there. If you all can just drop your takeaways for me in the chat, tell me what are you taking away from this first section? What are your takeaways? Tell me what your takeaways are. Show me the plan. I want to see what your takeaways are, right? Shannon says the wealthy woman freedom plan. Yes, Laura says that's me, right? I want to see that plan. Knowledge, Victoria says. So good. It's time for preparation. That's what Shannon says. Amazing. Yeah. Secure my financial future. Yeah, right. Secure my financial future. All right, ladies. So we are going to go into the wealthy woman system, right? So remember, just like the Fly Michelle story, you have to find the open door. And can I tell you, ladies, what the open door is that I think everybody somewhat looks past? The open door is you must find or understand power of leverage. Leverage is the open door, right? Did you know that what I found with, underwriting loans and talking to people and talking to wealthy people, leverage is one of the wealthy secrets. Like this is one of their secrets, right? So what is leverage? Leverage is anything that creates a multiplier effect on your efforts. Anything that creates a multiplier effect on your efforts is leverage. And the wealthy, it's almost like they leverage everything. Think about it. Like they leverage other people's houses, other people's cars, other people's assets, money, knowledge, right? So let's look at it. Someone tell me how many vehicles does Uber own? How many vehicles does Uber own? I want to see it in the chat. What do y'all got to say? How many vehicles does Uber own? Let's see. What do y'all have? Let's see it in the chat. Yeah, that's right. Uber owns zero vehicles, right? But their primary service is to pick you up and take you somewhere, right? And they're a multi-billion-dollar company and they don't have any vehicles, right? That's using other people's assets. What about Airbnb? Number one public hospitality company. How many properties does Airbnb own? Drop it in the chat. Let me see what you got. How many properties does Airbnb own? Right. None. They own zero properties, right? But yet they made $8.4 billion in 2022, leveraging other people's properties. Turo, right? They leverage other people's cars. DoorDash, they leverage other people's assets, right? And they made $6.6 billion in 2022. So clearly, ladies, right? Clearly, these are successful businesses and they all have that power of like leverage in common, right? So, can we all agree that leverage is a good thing? The wealthy do it all the time. And they also use credit, right? They're using credit and they don't call it debt. They don't call it debt. No, they leverage credit and they call it financial leverage. So let me give you the definition for this, all right? Financial leverage is a strategic use of debt to help you achieve your short-term financial goals. A strategic use of debt to help you achieve short-term financial goals. And can I tell you a secret? Lenders want to give you their money to leverage. Why? So they can make money, right? Just like property owners want to list their homes on Airbnb so they can make money, right? Or just like drivers want to use their cars for DoorDash so they can make money. So here's the big aha, right? When you leverage correctly, it actually becomes a win-win opportunity for both, right? It becomes a win-win opportunity for both. So you must leverage what's in your hands.
So good, Tiffany. And I've heard this other analogy too of leverage helps you to create not just, I mean, there's this analogy between carrying buckets of water, like back in the old days, you had to go to the well and you carry a bucket of water to your house. Or, some people still have to do that, which is sad, but you got that bucket of water and that's like our 9 to 5, just bucket of water, bucket of water. Or eventually they learned how to build pipelines to get the water straight to you, and so leverage is like building that pipeline. I mean, it takes less effort, which is crazy, right? Like it takes less after you've built it. It takes less effort. The water comes straight to you and it pours ongoingly without you having to do much more work for it. So that's what Tiffany is talking about. And I was at a conference last year. It's called Scalable Conference, and they were teaching you how to scale to like millions and billions and beyond. And let me tell you guys, I don't know how I got in that room. No, just kidding. That room was awesome. There were so many millionaires in the room. And at one point they're like, stand up if you're making over $1 million in your business. Stand up if you're making over $10 million in your business. Stand up. And so they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I was like, yes, I'm in the right room, ladies, the right room. And so I'm listening. And this guru gets up because it gets towards the end of the event. And this guru gets up and he's talking about leverage. But this time he's talking about leveraging businesses, guys. Like how to sell, how to acquire businesses, how to flip businesses so that you can make multi-million dollars. And he's up on the stage talking about that leverage, about those pipelines that he's building. And he's like, oh yeah, I got this business and I sold it, and so I have $170,000 per month residual income from this business. Then I got $100,000 per month residual from this business. I got 50,000 per month. That's little. That's like nothing. 50,000 per month. Come on, that's from this company. You know what I mean? And I was, who cares? Like their jaw is dropping. You're drooling. You're like, I'll just take one of those. Can I just have one of those? Right? Residual from that business. And I was like, oh my goodness, what are these people doing? How are they doing it? So I was all leaned in. Everybody lean in. How are they doing this? Because I was thinking, they must have oodles of money. They must be billionaires because they got to buy these businesses and then they're going to sell them. But guess what? Here's the secret. They were leveraging other people's money. The guru on the stage said, here's a list of 30 things that you can do to leverage other people's money so that you don't really have to put anything down to buy these businesses. And then here's the things that you do to fix them up. And then you flip them and you make millions of dollars. And I can tell you most of it was over my head. But the thing that I got, ladies, and the thing that you want to get right here is it's just a skill. It's just a skill. You don't have to have the assets. You just need to know how to leverage other people's assets. So good, Micah. Leverage other people's money. And if it's just a skill, first of all, who here wants to learn that skill? Right? Who I thought, I got to learn that thing. Who's with me? I got to learn that skill. Because if it's a skill, ladies, that means you can learn it. I can learn it because it's just a skill. And so the only difference between them and you is that they were in the old boys network. Somebody along the way taught them how to leverage other people's money. That's the only difference between them and you, is somebody taught them how to do this. They know the skill and you don't. And so if it's just a skill, you can learn that skill too. And when you learn that skill of using other people's money, then you can make more money and more money and more money and more money. And you just, who like more money? That's just, I think I need to say that a few more times. I'm just getting so excited. More money and more money and more money. Because once you know how to build one pipeline, you build another pipeline and another pipeline. Am I right? Who's getting excited about that? And that's when you become a wealthy woman. So who here wants to be a wealthy woman? I can learn the skill. Me, that's me. So if you're somebody, I think I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm getting a little out of myself here. If you're somebody, right, who wants to build those pipelines, who knows that you've got the skills to build those pipelines, that you can learn a new skill, say, that's me. That's me. Because,
So
yeah. Do you want me to go over this part, Tiffany? I feel like, yeah.
well, I think it's important, right, because just like Michelle said, if you have that skill, then you can do it, right? It's a learned skill, right? You have to know like the system to do it. And then once you know the system, then you can do it, right? And then you have the clarity, you have the confidence to just make it happen, right? And also, it's almost like, in today's world, they're not just giving you the information. But honestly, it's almost like not knowing this system is risky, right? You're putting everything at risk. You're putting your personal self at risk. You're putting your family at risk, your job at risk, your life at risk, your purpose at risk, right? So you need to learn the actual skill to make it happen, right? Or else you'll be a risky woman. Who is a risky woman? A risky woman, she doesn't know how to get the wealth, right? She hasn't really been taught, and she doesn't have the know-how, and she doesn't have the information to seek, or like, where do you find this information? She doesn't really know how to do it, right? But what normal people say is you have to plan, right, the right way for your financial future. And I know, Michelle, you told me about this earlier as far as like making that plan. And I think you were talking to your husband or something, and or someone that and they was kind of making that plan for the future the right way, but it was actually going to keep them stagnant, right?
Totally.
I mean,
Yeah. Let me share a lot of that, because like, how many of you know those people who like to play it safe? Do you know what I'm saying? Like we said earlier, is this a get rich quick scheme? Is this a scam? There's this one person in my life will remain nameless, but he's like, oh, it's a scam, or is that a scam? Or, I'm just going to keep my money. Like, let's just build a savings account. Let's just put it in our 401k. It might be a scam, right? Those people who they're just so worried to play it safe that they won't even look, right? They won't even open up. They won't even stop beating their face against the window and look over to see if there's an open door, because they're so worried. And they're so, I think it's because we've given into the lies that we've been told, right? That society has been telling us these things over and over and over and over again. And this is the right way to do it. The right way is to go to college, get a job, work your butt off, be on the 40-year plan, hope that you get into retire. We don't even have time to go into a 401k. I could go for hours about 401k. Okay. But get in your 401k, blah, blah, blah. And so this is the plan. This is the approved. That's what we always joke around at my house. It's approved. And over here, that's not approved, right? But the truth is, normal people, I keep quoting, quote, 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 just put your little hands out and quote with me. Normal people are the ones that are telling us all this. But normal people aren't the wealthy. Normal people are the ones that don't even have enough to live off of when they retire. Or maybe some of them do get a good enough job that they kind of still do. I mean, my in-laws actually had a really great job and they retired early, which was fantastic. But you know what they talk about now is like, ooh, I don't know if we have enough for that. We really have to budget, or I don't know about this. I don't know about that. We want to make sure we can do this, right? And so they're just always thinking about money. So honestly, poor people, you know, poor people, we think about, they think about money more than people that have money, because if you have money, you don't have to worry about it, right? So whenever it really counts, this risky woman finds herself unprepared. She's full of regret. She's afraid because she was too afraid to be different, too afraid to take the risk. She thought that borrowing money was wicked and evil, so she never even leaned in to listen. But the wealthy women, they seek out the skills of how to build the wealth. And they're not afraid to invest in themselves. They're not afraid to put their time out there in order to learn how to create the financial freedom. And they're not afraid to put that work in to create that financial freedom, to build that pipeline. So a wealthy woman says, I'm going to leverage other people's money and I'm going to make it grow. I'm going to step out on faith, like Tiffany said earlier. I'm going to do it now, and I am going to be prepared. So if that's you, if you're ready to lean in and listen, if you know you can learn skills, if you know you can stay motivated long enough to make it happen, I want you to tap your chest and declare it right now. Now is my time. I'm the wealthy woman.
Yes, now. I am the wealthy woman. Tap yourself on the chest right now. I just want you to do this with me, right? Tap yourself on the chest and say, I am a wealthy woman. All right, ladies. So we're going to get more into this system. So let's get started. All right. So you want to be the one that's poised, that's prepared, that when a recession hits and the next big opportunity comes, you're the one who has planted seeds and then you've seen them grow, right? So everybody always gets like so excited about the harvest, but if you've never planted the seed, how are you going to pick the fruit, right? So there's a critical step that most women are missing, and that is to get the foundation right first, right? So let me tell you how I learned this, right? So I'm gonna tell you a quick little story. I just need you guys to lean in, right? So one day I'm sitting in church, I am listening to a pastor, and the pastor's talking about building your life like you would a house. So he asked, where are you in the home building process of your life? Right? So let me just ask you the same question. Um, because honestly, this question changed my entire life. So, ladies, if you're building your life or your business like you would a house, where are you in the home building process of your life? Well, listen, it didn't take me long to answer this question, right? I had already made up my mind. I'm almost finished, right? I'm putting my roof on. I mean, my house is almost built. I mean, I could add some shingles, do some landscaping, the basic things are done, but my house was almost finished. And my thought was, I've worked my tail off. You know how when you work your tail off for, all the stuff that you have and you're looking around at all the things that you've accomplished and you say to yourself, you know what, I'm doing pretty well, right? I got a nice car, my family's healthy, I have a nice house, I could add a few things for the most part, but overall I'm content. Well, that's where I was. Then I went home and something inside was pulling me to like ask yourself this question again, ask yourself this question again. So I'm like, okay, well, where are you in the home building process of your life? Then I heard a voice, right? It was like an inner voice was speaking, but it was so clear to me, right? And do you know what it said? It said, child, you are in the field. What? a minute.
Oh,
In
good.
the field. Well, but I was talking about building my life like I would a house. I was talking about the house, and I got this and I got that, and I got this car and I got that car, and I have, a nice house, and my family's healthy. I'm building my house, and it's almost done. There's a few things that I could add, but overall, my house is almost done. And it said, "You're in the field." Ladies, listen. Have you ever been in a place when you thought you had built something so wonderful, only to realize you had not built anything at all? Like, let me give you some examples, right? Like maybe you had perfect credit. Oh, you had that 747, 797 credit score, and you built it up and you paid all your business on time, but then something happens and then you have to file bankruptcy. Right? Or maybe you had bought the perfect, absolute perfect house. Like you remember coming in and pulling the U-Haul up and taking all the furniture, and you had pictures and the new bedroom set and the new living room set, but then you experienced a foreclosure. Or maybe you built this amazing business, but then it crumbled. Have you ever been in a place when you had thought you built something so amazing, then it all came crumbling down? Ladies, I was there. I was there because an awareness came. Wait a minute. If I'm in the field, I had not properly laid a foundation. So I'll tell you, ladies, I've been in the industry for a while, and this got me to thinking, of my life and business, in the industry that I'm in, and I've been in it for a while. I've underwritten a massive amount of loans, and I've denied a lot of loans. And I remember sitting there at my desk and sending emails for denials and thinking, the reason that these people can't get funded is because they lack a good foundation. Their business wasn't set up right. They don't have the liquidity. They don't have the application correct. They don't have the basic foundational tools, the credit, right? And can I be honest and tell you that most underwriters desire to give you money, right? You actually get bonuses and incentive when you approve a loan, right? So they desire to give you loan. But you can't approve the loan if if your stuff is not together, right? If you don't have those foundational tools together, right? If the foundation is not properly laid, you can't get your loan approved. So, like I said, just a little secret, most underwriters, they want to approve your loans. It's like banks and lenders, they're waiting for people, right? They're waiting. That's why they're called lenders, right? They're waiting to lend you money, and they want you to have your business set up the right way because they want to finance you. So the first step, ladies, in unleashing the funds and becoming a wealthy woman is you must have your business foundations together. Not laying the proper foundation for your business puts you at risk, right? Puts you at risk. And to the bank, you cannot be a risk. I love what Gordon B. Hinckley says. He says, you cannot build a great building on a weak foundation. Tony Payne says this. He says, a house built on a shaky foundation will eventually collapse. So, again, listen, not laying the proper foundation for your business makes you a risk, and it puts you in the field, right? So, back to the story. Here I am in this mental field, y'all. I was humbled, right? Because I thought I had done my very best. And I realized you got to get out of this place, right? Like, how do I get out of this field, right? What is this field? And I knew I was going to have to do some things differently. I was going to have to start from the beginning, and I was going to have to do it the right way. So, point number two, ladies, you must do things the right way, right? You must do things the right way. It was like a voice inside of me was saying, there's no shortcut. There's no shortcut to this, right? You need to like let go of some old mindsets. Listen to this inner voice, right? Give up some things. Do some things a different way. Humble, pray. And honestly, when I had done everything that I knew to do, when I was willing, honestly, I was willing to give it all up because I wanted to get out of this field, right? I wanted to move to build something solid. that would last, right? And then I realized when I was willing to give it all up, I realized I was standing on a solid rock. That's when I received the blueprint for the foundation that will not move. And can I tell you, I'm going to give you pieces of that blueprint today, right? Does anyone want the wealthy woman's blueprint? Does anyone want the wealthy woman's blueprint? I love Luke 6:48. It says, he's like a man building a house who dug deep and laid the foundation on the rock. And when a flood arose and a stream broke against the house, and he could not shake it because it had been well built. Remember, ladies, a wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands, a foolish woman tears it down. This is what the banks want to see, ladies, right? They want to see that your house is well built, that if turmoil came, that if another recession hit, is your foundation built where it would not move? That leads me to point number 3. You must build your foundation on a rock. Can somebody say unleash the funds? Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Someone say unleash the funds. Unleash the funds.
Unleash
Right?
them, Tiffany. Unleash them. So Tiffany and I actually talk. I'm always saying it's not the sexy part, not the sexy part, but we're always talking about foundation because who here has ever built a house or seen a house built? Have you ever seen a house built? My my dad's a roofer and he works in construction. We used to work in construction, unleash the funds, unleash the funds. Yep. And you know, that part that takes the longest is the foundation. You know, they're clearing the land, they're putting all the pipes in, they're doing all the things, they're building the foundation, and it just looks, for a long time, it looks like nothing is happening. Nothing's happening. And then one day you drive by and it's like the walls are up, the roof's on, it's like framed, it's got all the things, and you're like, whoa, what happened? Right? Because the foundation is just so important. So we could go on and on and on, but what does this mean? What does the foundation mean when it comes to your business? Some of it is mindset stuff that Tiffany's talking about, which we're going to talk more about later. So just having being prepared mentally and emotionally to receive, right? We could go on. That's another class. Okay. But then the other thing, to be more what it means to build a foundation is there are 20 criteria. So Tiffany was talking about looking at the loans, all that. There's 20 criteria that they look at to see if you're fundable and credible if you have your foundation in order. So it doesn't matter if you need business funds, real estate, SBA loans, or if you're seeking funding from a venture capitalist, your funds must be in order. So can you give us an example, Tiffany?
Yeah, so one example is I remember when I first got started with TIF development, right? I set it up, but then I found out that I wasn't going to get any real money, right? Like I got approved for a whopping $1,000, right, to start my development. And how many of you know that it's going to take a little bit more than $1,000 to do a whole development, right? I was limited in like my ability to leverage the bank's funds because I was a development company. And what I didn't know is that development was a restricted business type, right? So not only was I a development company, but my name said development. So I couldn't even hide it if I wanted to. The point is, you have to do things the right way. And the way that I did it, I was limited in my business funding, right? So you have to make sure that you pick a name that doesn't flag the restricted list. So what are some other examples? Some examples would be a real estate broker, right? A construction company, a religious organization, vehicle sales, there's a whole list of restricted company name types that will cause you not to get as much funding. Now, I'm not saying that you won't get funding and eventually you can build and build and build and they will give you funding, but initially, right, you want to make sure that you can get the max amount of funding. And in order to unleash the funds, you want to make sure that your business name is not on the restricted list, right? So we've put together a blueprint for ladies, and it's called, Michelle has it right there. It's called the Wealthy Woman's Blueprint, right? And we have scoured the internet for all the lists, the templates, the checklists, everything that you need to follow to like kind of create your foundation. right? And this is basically everything you need to know to do things the right way. It's all in that wealthy women's blueprint, right?
And yeah,
So,
in doing things, I want the wealthy woman's blueprint. Yeah, Micah. So in doing things, you know, I just want to recap, like write that down. So Tiffany's saying, like specifically, there's certain things, there's those 20 things. One of them is your business name, right? Like whoever thought that your business name was going to be the thing that keeps you from getting more money, right? And it's so crazy, right? Because there are little things. I mean, if you think about the foundation itself, right? Whenever you go to buy a house, if there's a crack, that's like the worst thing, right? Like you get it appraised or what, or they do the whatever they do. I'm like Tiffany losing words, right? But they look at the house, make sure it's all good, right? And then if they find a crack in the foundation, then it's like, oh, right? Because even though it's just a crack, it's such a small thing, but it's so essential that sometimes they got to redo like major renovations because there's a crack in the foundation, right? So it's like the little tiny things, ladies. Here's what you want to get out of it, that there are little tiny things, right? That the little tiny things make a difference. And so if you and if we're on it, yeah, so the little tiny things make a difference. So what you want to do is find somebody who knows what those little tiny things are, right? So that they can help you through it. So you don't have a crack in your foundation. I was just looking at my nails. Actually, my friend did my nails. And then later she was like, oh man, I did them wrong. And so then, if you do them wrong, then they crack, that sort of thing. So the little things can really unleash the funds, thousands of dollars one way, or you can lose thousands of dollars the other way, right? So set up your business the right way by following those criteria that we talked about. Okay, cool.
yes. And also, I do want to say as well that when you set up your business the right way and all the foundational pieces are there, can I tell you as an underwriter, and I think this pretty much goes across the board for different underwriters, but you look at a few foundational pieces, and if they have it together, you hardly look. I mean, you look at the loan, right? But you're not digging deep in the loan. But if I go through a loan as a lender, and I see different aspects of those foundational things are not completed, then I have no confidence, right, that this person knows what they're doing. And I will literally go digging down a rabbit hole and a rabbit hole. And this is why sometimes you may go to finance, I don't know, your house or whatever it is, and you're like, they have asked me for everything except for my leg and my right arm, right? It's because those foundational things in the initial application had them asking question after question after question. And this causes you to have to provide tons and tons and tons of information. But remember, we're unleashing the funds and we're helping you to get approved easily, quickly, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, and I can say that, like I said, when things are missing, they're going to dig deep. They're going to go down the rabbit hole and look for every possible thing because you are a risk. You become a risk at that point. And what does the bank hate, ladies?
Those
A
risky
risky woman.
women, those risky women. So, okay, so foundations, thing number one. So just making sure you're tracking with us. We've done a lot of, we're like teaching, we're talking at you. I just want to make sure you're still awake. What are you getting out of it? Go ahead and drop some gems in the chat if you've got any gems or the gems that you found so far as we continue going, because okay, so thing number one is that business foundation. So then the next thing we're going to talk about is the money, all you all been waiting for, right? Like once you got the things done right and you built that foundation, it's time to like frame that thing, get that stuff all going, right? So how many of you know that you need money to make money? Last year, we surveyed the women in our Facebook group and who are interested in real estate investing. And they said, you know what they said? They're like, I want to invest in real estate and more and more and more. I want generational wealth. I want to make a difference in my family. I want to make large sums of money. But they're like, hey, but I don't have the money to get started. I don't really know how to get it because of all the things we talked about so far, right? Like I'm already working 3 jobs. What do you want from me? My leg, right? Tiffany said, right? I'd love to do fix and flips, but I don't have the money to fix it. So it's just this catch-22 situation of I've got to have the money to make the money. And the same thing happens in business too. Whenever I got started, I wanted to be a health coach. I was going to go, you know how when you get started in business, you got so many big plans. You're like, I'm going to go change the world. And I'm just so jazzed up. I was going to change people's lives. And you know, when you've got a dream and that dream's burning inside you and it's just bigger than you are and you're called to do something. And this is where I just wanted to share that we talked to so many, you guys are just such amazing people. I just like giving you praise in the chat, or just like want to acknowledge you for your hearts, and that like you want the money, you want to be able to, you know, build a legacy, but so many of you have such big hearts, and so many of our ladies, they have so many great, like bigger visions, right? So one of the ladies in our group, she loves the homeless, and she's like, I've been low and I want to take care of people. I want to help them go higher because they shouldn't have to suffer, right? Or another one of them, she wants to open up an orphanage. And another one has this burning passion. She's like, you don't understand. I've got to make this nonprofit happen, right? And so you've got these other things that you want to do. You have this vision, you've got, and for the money that you're going to use and the money that you're going to make, and how you're going to change people's lives, but you just don't have the money to get started, right? So you see it and you want to start it, but you don't have the money. And I was there, and when I was getting started in my business, I was a stay-at-home mom. I hadn't worked in years. My husband, he understood, but you know, he was supportive, but he didn't exactly understand. So he's like, okay, go for it, honey. Go do whatever you want to do, but you aren't going to use any of our money to do it. Right? And so can I get real with you guys? Can I share a little bit of the mistakes I made, right? Guys, I did it the wrong way. I did it the wrong way, which we're about to tell you what all the wrong ways are. I paved the way for you, okay? I did it the wrong way. And I'll tell you more about that later, but I put myself in between a rock and a hard place. I put myself and my family at risk, just like my house was about to crumble, just like we were talking about. And then I met Tiffany. And I can tell you, when I was like pounding my fist on the table, I wish I had met you months earlier and I knew all this stuff. But she showed me how to use financial leverage to unleash $50,000 to $100,000 in business funding, and how you can do that right now. So this is the juicy stuff. I hope you got your fingers ready, your pen ready. We're getting to the juicy stuff. Are you guys all ready to hear what Tiffany taught me? How to unleash the funds? And if that's you, type yes, 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 yes in the chat. Yes, yeah, we will have a replay. Of course, it's more fun online, but we do have a replay. We're staying for 2 hours. If you guys haven't, we're here for about 2 hours because we're giving you juicy masterclass stuff. Okay, like real teaching is going on. Transformation's happening. It takes more than an hour sometimes. Go ahead, Tiffany.
Yes. All right. So, like Michelle said, the question is, how can you unleash $50,000 to $100,000 in other people's money, right? Not your money, other people's money for your business real estate deals. And how can you create this win-win for the bank? Because remember, lenders want to give you their money. All right. So Michelle's going to write it down and we're going to show you how, and we're going to use the example of business credit cards, right? So what you do is you choose 5 to 10 business credit cards, right? That will give you 100% to invest in your business. All right. So let's just say you chose three Chase business cards, right? And one gave you 10,000, 10,000, and 5,000. So one gave you 10,000, the second gave you 10,000, and then the third gave you 5,000. It's a total of $25,000, right? Let's just say you chose Capital One. Capital One has three pretty good business cards as well. So the first gave you 10,000, the second gave you 5,000, and the third gave you 5,000. 10,000, 5,000, and then 5,000. So that's a total of $20,000. All right, then you went to American Express, right? American Express has great business credit cards. So American Express, you got 4 business credit cards from American Express. You got, let's see, 15,000 for the first one, 20 for the second, 20,000, yeah, 15,000 for the third, and then 5,000 for the fourth one. That's a total of $65,000. right? So there you have it, ladies. You have your $100,000. But what if they only gave you half of that? What if they only gave you half of that? Right? Then is it okay with you if you got $50,000? Right? So here's the key. Here's the key. There is a key, right? There is a key to this. It's knowing which credit bureau the bank is pulling from. You got to know which credit bureau the bank is pulling from. For example, on your credit, before they start restricting your funding, you have about 3 inquiries that you can make on each bureau, right? So you want to find 3 cards that pull from Experian. You want to find 3 that pull from Equifax and 3 that pull from TransUnion. And this is how you maximize your funding power. If you try to get all 9 of those cards or 10 cards from one bureau, you're going to start getting denied, right? So once you do it this way, you got to know where the bureau, where the bank is pulling from, right? So you have your list, you do your cards, and once you pull and request the credit card, the credit from the credit card company, you will be unleashed, right? And you can maximize your funding to get $50,000 to $100,000. Now, you might ask, who has this list, right? Nobody has this list. Nobody knows where the banks are pulling from. They're pulling Experian or Equifax. How am I supposed to know? We have the list. We have the list. There's like 100 lenders, right? And we have the list. Michelle's holding it up right now. In that Wealthy Women's Blueprint, we have the list, right? Someone say, give me the list, right? Because I can tell you, if you invest in like a high ticket mastermind, $25,000, $30,000, they may give you the list. Or maybe you can invest in like a super high ticket offer. They might have a list or something like that. But we have the list. And we have it for our ladies in the Wealthy Women's Circle, right? So when you follow this system, you can quickly, and this is just one system, right? You can quickly unlock $50,000 to $100,000 in other people's money. In fact, one woman who did our first masterclass, she sent us a message, and she said that she unlocked $75,000, right? Overnight in 24 hours, she unlocked $75,000, right? Another client, Gabrielle, received $50,000, right? I myself in the last like month and a half got $75,000, just like in the last month and a half, 2 months, right? And here's the thing, ladies, you can too. You can do this. This is so easy, right? This is just one tool that we teach in the Wealthy Woman's Blueprint.
All right. That was good stuff. And it was so simple, actually. She didn't even have the list. She's magical. And she did that well. But yeah, just did it about 2 months ago. How soon can I do it again? Great question, Teresa. We're going to actually write these down and dive in deeper. I know some people are looking for the repay, want to go. So Micah, can you save those for us? And we'll get a little bit deeper on that. So, but great question, right? So you can use this but you can use this over and over and over again, Teresa, like you're saying, you can do this over and over again. You can unleash the funds. And if you have a good enough credit score, you're going to be getting 0% funding. Like, so, you know, those credit card companies out there that are like, hey, 12 months, 0% interest, 0. Yeah. I thought I was saying something wrong. So that's 0% interest, 18 months, 0% interest, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be able to get the 0% interest cards. So the truth is that in order to use this method, your credit does have to be pretty good. So we're just gonna be honest, throw it all out there because earlier I mentioned being in a tight spot, put myself and my family at risk. And we're going to talk about so we're going to jump into personal credit. So that's the next thing. Has everybody got this? Is okay if I can erase our little example here. So the next thing we're going to talk about is personal credit. So that's number 3 on the list, right? Is personal credit. So earlier I mentioned I put myself in a tight spot. I made one of the number one biggest mistake that we see a lot of people make whenever we start our businesses. And that is that whenever I started my business, they were like, oh, well, you can't get a business credit card. You know, I was like, oh, great, I'm going to go get my business credit card. They're going to give me lots of money. I was thinking this, like, this is going to happen to me. Then I'll be able to go and do everything I need, blah, blah, blah. And then they told me at the bank, they told me, you can't get a business credit card because you haven't been in business long enough. And then other people told me, don't bother applying for loans because same thing, you haven't been in business long enough. They need to see blah, 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 blah. And I believed them. I didn't know any better. I believed them. So I took out a personal credit card and I put all of my investments on my personal card because, you got your dream and you're like, I'm going to make it and I could see it. And oh my goodness. And God has given me my dream and he's going to make sure that nothing bad happens to me ever. Right. And so I put everything on my credit card, which left me in a really tight spot because when you use it didn't, because my business didn't grow as quickly as I thought it was going to. And then I started to put my family at risk because when you use your personal credit card, it affects your debt to income ratio. So that means, your credit score just starts to go down by virtue of, like, if you're putting stuff on your card, your score is going down, right? So your buying power goes down because they're reporting everything to the credit bureau. You have higher interest rates on personal credit cards. You have smaller limits on personal credit cards because they think, again, this is your personal card that you're going to be using for personal things, right? And so it lowers your opportunities. If you are going to buy a house, you're going to have maybe a smaller house. Maybe you can't get as good of a loan on a car or something that you need, right? So your capacity is limited and your hands are tied. And the biggest deal is that you're at risk, right? You're putting yourself, your family, your business, everything is at risk because if something happens and you can't make the payments, credit, man, they get you. They get you and your credit score plummets so quickly. So you become a risky woman. Now, what does the bank not like?
A risky
woman. Yes, Tiffany. So don't use a personal credit card to fund your business and real estate deals. But in order to use the business, so we talked about business credit cards, and you can, unlike what they told me, you can set up a business credit card, even if you don't have like years and years and years of income statements and stuff like that. But we're going to talk about the difference between those two things. But in order to use that strategy, you do need to have pretty good credit. You have to have at least a 640 or higher. So getting a business credit card still kind of pulls from your credit score. So the question that we get next in is, what do we do? What do I do if I don't have a great credit score? Or what if I accidentally did mistake number one and now my credit isn't looking so great? Right? So we've got a couple of options for you. If you're up for them, give me some love in the chat. What are some options? And Teresa, I see you. We're going to get to you, girl. So thanks for just keep dropping your questions in the chat. Drop them in there. So we have a couple options for you. And here's one of them. Number one is, and you guys, let me just ask you real quick before I tell you these options. Number one, would you rather have someone tell you something that you want to hear or just be real with you? Type it in the chat. Do you want someone to just like tell you what sounds good so you buy their thing? Or do you want to like hear the truth? Real. I love real. Real is so good. Real. Great. I was just making sure we're on the same page here. Okay. So I wish I could tell you that there is a magical way around every single situation and you never have to bring your credit score up and you never need to use your personal credit. I wish that were the case. But the truth is, in the world that we live in, personal credit makes a big difference. It opens up your options, right? Because the truth is that whenever you go to buy a house, a lot of that, most of the time that's on credit. So you need your personal credit to be great, especially, investing and stuff like that, right? Like it's got to be on your credit. So if you need your car, if your car goes out, if something happens with your kid, then at some point you're very likely going to need credit. And if you don't have personal credit, then that's going to restrict your ability to get wealth. And this class is called Unleash the Funds, not Restrict the Funds. Yeah. I mean, that's different. So we have to be honest with you. And ultimately, So ultimately, you're going to want to work on getting your credit score back up in order to maximize the funding that you need to have to really get the wealth and the freedom that you desire. So that's not the sexy answer, but that's the truth. And it is totally worth it. So,
Yes.
in our Wealthy Women's Blueprint, Tiffany, you want to go over this part? In our Wealthy Women's Blueprint, the truth is there are some ways to bring that up. And then I'm going to give you we're going to give you option number 2. So
yeah, there's tons of ways that you can actually bring your credit back up, right? So, for example, the law requires that any discrepancy on your credit report across the bureaus, they have to fix it. Like if you find any discrepancy, if your name is wrong, if the amounts are wrong, if they're different across the bureaus, they have to fix it, right? If there's a date wrong, pretty much anything, you can write them a letter knowing telling them exactly what's going on, and they have to take it off. So the beauty is that inside of that Wealthy Woman's Blueprint, we have so many templates, right? We have so many templates that you can send into the credit bureaus so that your personal credit gets fixed, right? And there's other tricks that you can try, like paying $1 more than the minimum payment, or if you pay your credit cards at least 10 days before like the date that they're due. That alone could increase your credit score by about 3 points per trade line. So if you have 10 trade lines and it's 3 per trade lines, that could increase your score by 30 points just by paying 10 days before the due date, right? And not waiting to the exact due date. So if you want more details about that, we have it. Stick around. We'll cover it in the Q&A, any questions that you have. But ultimately, you want to just make sure that you have a good personal credit because it maximizes your loan amounts. And then you're able to qualify, like Michelle was saying, for higher loans. And it opens up so many more options to you. So you can do it. It's possible. And this is not, it doesn't take, rocket science or anything. This is something that can be done, right? So next we're going to go into business credit, right? Business credit. Now, meanwhile, let's just say you don't have the best credit. Let's just say you had a few hits that happened. You don't have the best credit. There's still something you can do to unleash the funds, right? There's still something you can do to unleash the funds. So again, maybe you don't have good personal credit. Maybe your personal credit, it kind of, if you just have it, it restricts you, right? It restricts you. Personal credit takes a long time to build, but the good news is there's business credit. Business credit doesn't take a long time to build, or not as long as personal credit, right? So you're looking at 6 to 10 months, you can actually build up business credit. The beauty is if you have both business credit and personal credit, you can double dip. You can double dip. You can use your business credit and you can use your personal credit. When you only have personal credit, that's all that you have to go off of, right? So we pretty much have determined based on, talking to a host of other women that you need business credit if you have a business, right? But guess what? 80% of people don't have business credit. And we'll show you this a little deeper in a moment. But so when you don't have business credit, right? And what we've seen too is that even business gurus and people who make hundreds of thousands of dollars, they sometimes don't even have business credit, right? But again, you need business credit. We spoke to a woman the other day, and she was amazing, right? She had flipped, I don't know, I think she said 5 properties, maybe 5 or 6 properties, and everything was going good. But on the last property, she ran into a stump because the contractor didn't call her back, and then she had to use her own money, and he had already kind of ran away. You all have heard the stories, right? Where contractors run away with their money and they're gone with $40,000 and the project is unfinished and you can't sell it, right? So she's coming to us, she can't sell it, she's running, her hard money loan is about to run out, they're going to charge her fees, she's in the middle of a project. What do you do? So, when Michelle and I looked at it, we analyzed the situation. Oh, this is perfect. All she needs to do is have her business credit, right? Get her business credit, take out a loan, fix the property, sell the house, everything will be great. But she did not have business credit. right? So then she ran the risk of the property being foreclosed. Her and her husband had been going back and forth, and he ended up peeling out. He was mad. So it affected her family situation, right? Her debt to income ratio was limited. She couldn't get any other loans on her personal credit because she was too, her debt to income ratio was too high. So she was literally restricted because she didn't have business credit. But can I tell you that when you do have business credit, right, you can set this credit up in no time pretty much, that it's there for you to utilize when you need it, that you can put it into your projects, that you can cash out. I mean, literally, you can get 50, $100,000 in business funding to help you scale your business or get to the next level in business, right? So, one thing about this is now we know that business credit is totally separate, right, from personal credit, right? This is based on your business's ability to manage debt. And it's not based on things like personal credit. Like personal credit is based on utilization. You have to have that credit mix going on. You can't be too high to the limit. Business credit is a lot different, right? Business credit is based on one thing. Did you pay on time, right? And I mean, they have a few other things that they look at, but honestly, that's the main thing that they look at when it comes to business credit, right? So you can start building business credit regardless of your personal credit history. This is the beauty on it. It's separate, completely separate, right? So you can start building it regardless if you have good credit, if you have bad credit, right? You can start building it. So again, it takes 6 to 10 months or so to actually build it out. With business credit, you have like higher limits and lower interest rates. So they may give you a $30,000 card with a 0% interest rate. With personal credit, they don't really do that often, right? So you can unleash more funding when you have business credit than when you have personal credit. And most importantly, right? Just like the story that I just kind of went over, it's a safety net, right? It's a second option in the times of like emergency or, in times of turmoil, you have a safety net for your business. And finally, right? If God forbid something happened terrible to your business and you have to file business bankruptcy, your business goes bankrupt, you don't go bankrupt, right? You can walk away and start a new business, which means that protects your family, it protects your finances, and overall, it protects you, right? It
Yes.
protects you.
Yes. I'm just going to recap what you said because there's so much there. And it took me hearing it like 4 times to really understand the gravity, like the importance of this thing. And so for Victoria, we're going to answer your question right now because it's such a good one. So this is the thing that we were talking about. This is the number one thing that we see that business owners don't have. This is like the other big mistake that you don't want to make. Honestly, I mean, like, I'm pounding my fist on the table again of like, if you don't have business credit, go out and get it right now. This was the thing that one of our friends was like, oh my gosh, I can see how much I need it now. And I want everybody to know about it. I want everybody to know, and I want everybody to go out and get business credit right now. So business credit people in the chat. So here's why. Tiffany told us why you need this right now, like drop everything ASAP, go do this right now kind of thing, is because number one, Victoria, no, it is not connected to your personal credit score at all. This is totally separate. It's like a new thing. It's like you're a new person, right? So when you set up your business name, it has an EIN number. It's not your social security number. So it starts to build credit just like you're coming out of high school and you're getting your first job and you're paying your first bills and you're getting your first credit card. It's like a brand new baby that's coming out. And so it has a different credit score, right? Like so it can be, so basically, if your credit's kind of in the trash, here's what you can do. You can start building your personal credit and you build your business credit at the same time. So you'll be able to kind of reach for and achieve the business credit depending on your credit score, perhaps you're going to be able to get business credit first that you can start to unleash and use in a similar way that we just talked about. Like they're going to start giving you lines of credit, just like these credit cards with 0% interest. You're going to qualify for loans. There's other things that are going to happen. So it's going to start to unleash a lot of money on this business side under your business baby name and number, right? And so it's giving you this double. That's what Tiffany's talking about. Double dip. You've got double options. Who wants double? Somebody say double dip. Like, can I just double dip? Can I double my options of what's going on? And so I want to like open up your social company, business credit companies. So there's a difference, Teresa, between a business credit card and business credit. So if you are getting a business credit card, they're going to pull from your personal credit. And it's called a business credit card, but you have a personal guarantee attached to it. But once you establish your business credit, it is its own entity. And so then your business is starting to create. So we're going to go into the detail a little bit more on exactly how you, on a little bit more on like how you start that. But, or we can add that. We actually had a huge class where we went into detail about all the things. So we can kind of go into a little more detail in the Q&A. But basically, there's a process that you follow so that you can build that business credit, and then you can start just getting credit cards under your business name. You don't need to use your personal. So that's a possibility. So that's the potential there. And then like Tiffany said, like here, I'm going to just like expand. Is it cool if we go a little bit deeper on this and just expand the application of this? Okay. So for example, let's say I leave today, and whether I get Tiffany's help or not, I'm going to go get myself $75,000 using these credit cards. Okay. We're going to assume that happened. Now I got 0% interest, $75,000. I go out there, I start doing my business. Maybe I'm investing in my business is growing, or I'm investing in real estate. I'm flipping houses. I'm getting money. And so after a while, after about a year, whenever the 0% interest, it starts to run out after about a year or so, right? Meanwhile, not only am I rocking it, doing some like important things that are going to help me magnify my wealth, using other people's money to make more money. Meanwhile, I'm smart. I know about this thing called business credit because somebody told me that. So I created business credit. And it has like a 75,000. It has potential here, right? And so here's what I'm thinking, right? My 0% interest is about to go out. Maybe I haven't paid all that off yet, but cha-ching, now I have business credit. I could go out and get new credit cards. I could transfer the balance over and I have another year. So that's just one application. So do you see how it gives you so many options, right? It's like your safety net. It's like your second, it's almost like a second savings account. I mean, that's not like the right wording, but you know what I mean? It's like your safety net of, hey, if something happened, if it crashed, if I was starting to use my business credit cards and something ever happened, then I've got this other line that I can pull from. Or if it, or if I'm not quite done, I can put it over here, right? Like it just gives you so many more options. And the thing is, once you've got this established, you really want to take everything out of your personal name, out of your personal guarantee, because this is what the wealthy do. You want a wealthy secret here? Do you want to know how the wealthy people like Donald Trump, they like their business fails and then they just keep on whistling their tunes and going about their day, right? It's because they know about business credit and they set it up in their business name. So like Tiffany said, if something ever happened in your business and it went bankrupt, you don't go bankrupt, right? And so let's go back to that risky woman. The risky woman is somebody who doesn't have a backup plan. It's somebody who doesn't have a second line. It's somebody who doesn't put their stuff in their business name and they put everything on their personal name. And then when it crashes, you're screwed. Okay. That is the risky woman. And we don't want that to be you. We don't want that to be you. If you guys are ready to not be a risky woman, you want to be a wealthy woman, let's put wealthy woman in the chat. We're getting so into it. I feel like we're a little bit behind on what we're about to talk about here. But does that make sense to everybody?
Yes. Yes.
Who's got it? If you got it, say, I got it.
Teresa says, own nothing and control everything. Own nothing and control everything. Yes.
So good.
Good.
So good.
Good takeaway. Yeah, we just want to pause here for just a second. And if you could drop any takeaways that you have in the chat, that would be wonderful. We want to know, what takeaways do you have? What takeaways do you have? Just drop them in the chat. Micah says, wealthy woman. Yes. Come on. Unleash the funds. You can double dip, Shannon says. Yes, you can double dip. And there are a few questions here, and we're going to get to your questions as well. Actually, we're going to get to all the questions in just a moment. Wealthy woman. If there are any more takeaways, feel free to drop them in the chat. We're going to continue here to move forward. All right. Michelle, did you want to answer some of the questions first? Do you think we should answer questions first? Or
No,
I see
we
quite a
actually,
few
guys, we actually over prepared. We could go on for like another hour at least. So I think what we'll do is keep those questions. So Tiffany and I are gonna stay on longer. We'll answer your personal questions. We've got a bunch of other stuff we can share with you if you want extra tips and tricks and things that we didn't have time to share. If you want to go deeper on some of these things together, we can do that after. So no problem, no problem. Power with business and personal credit. Double, double, double. Yes, 1-2 punch. So I think what we'll do is we want to just cover a couple things of, okay, well, one of the things we talked about is people just don't know, right? We just don't know. We haven't been taught the skills. We don't have this information. We don't know that these things are available. Yeah, yes, Teresa. Yes. So we don't know that these things are available, but there's some other things that we find that keep women back from really stepping in, leveraging this system, becoming wealthy women. So Tiffany, which one do you want to cover first? There's maybe just like 2 or 3.
So, this one I've heard recently, right? I've heard this recently. I was talking to someone and, she was going kind of on about how she really wanted to step into her purpose. And she knew that, or she knows that, there's something inside of her really pulling her to her purpose, but she feels like she's too old. She's too old to do any of this stuff. She's too old to start getting business credit. She's too old to, really fix her credit. She may as well, her thought was she may as well just work her job. And, she already said she's 60 years old. She just doesn't want to do anything. She doesn't feel like she has years and years left. But then I thought of Marilyn Hickey. Right? Does anybody know who that is? Marilyn Hickey. I absolutely love her. Um, she started, right? She started when she was like in her 40s. I don't even know exactly how old she was, but she started when she was in her 40s, right? And now, well, actually, over the last 10 years, she has spoken to crowds that have been 700,000 people plus. People come from all over the world and they gather together in other countries. 700,000 people come to hear her speak. She started when she was in her 40s, right? So it's almost like you're never too old to have, when you have that inner pull inside of you, right? Age absolutely does not matter. It is the next generation that's waiting on your obedience to the inner voice that's inside of you, right? To the inner voice. And that reminds,
oh, go ahead.
Mhm. No, that just reminds me of, kind of what you were saying. I think you said something, it was so good. I think you said there are 8 days in a week or something of that nature, right?
Yeah, yes. Oh, I was just going to share whenever you're talking to, I was so inspired. I served a mission in Japan and we met this lady, or not this lady, it was this old guy. He was in his late 70s and he was like so on fire with life. And he it was like his life just started and he's like, I'm going to start taking up the flute again and I'm going to learn all of the hymns and I'm going to play all the hymns. And then he was like on to something else and on to something else. And, we met somebody whenever we went to a ski slope. We were just like on a little touristing thing and we went up this thing, all those little, I don't even know what those things are called. And we went up, we're like really high in the mountains and we met this man who was skiing down the mountain and he was like, yeah, I'm 90 years old. Skiing on the mountain when I'm 90 years old. Well, part of me was like, what are you thinking? But awesome, right? Like, yeah, heart. So one of the things Tiffany was talking about is, did you know that there's 8 days in the week? Does anybody know what the 8th day of the week is? You gotta type it in the chat. You guys heard this? There's actually 8 days. Yeah, I know it. Matt. I'm 61.
Awesome.
I'm here excited. Yeah, it's the next chapter. What's the 8th day of the week? Anybody got ideas? It's called someday.
Someday.
Someday is the 8th day of the week. And let me tell you, we live on that day so many times, right? Someday I'm going to get my business started. Someday I'm going to start this real estate business. Someday I'm going to, right? Like someday when my kids graduate, someday when my mom or dad or my cousin or somebody gets better, or once I get past this health challenge, or, someday. And the truth is that someday never comes. Yes, Naomi, the time is now, right? Because someday never comes. It actually doesn't exist. Someday does not exist. And you can never catch it. All that we have is the time that we have right now. Just like Naomi said, this is it. This is it. This is it. I just heard a woman talking about this is it. What if you lived every moment like this is it? This is the day. This is it. This is the moment. Because the truth is there's never going to be a right time. This is your chance. This is your opportunity. And right now maybe it feels like you don't have any options. Maybe it feels like you're in the middle of the ocean. You've been swimming and you've been swimming and swimming and you're paddling and you're putting everything into it and you're praying for someone to come save you. And that reminds me of a story of this that I heard once about this man, and he was stranded out in the ocean, praying for God to save him. And after a few hours, along came a sailboat. And they're sailing by and they're like, hey, dude, we see you. We see you. Do you want a ride? Do you want us to save you? And he's like, no, sailboats are kind of slow. I don't think, I'm so busy. I got some time. I don't think I have time for go in a sailboat right now. And you know what? I don't even know how to sail. So I'm not going to be very good at it. And I might be a burden on you. So you go ahead. God will save me. So he goes back to paddling. He's paddling and praying. And a few hours later, a yacht comes by. And the people on the yacht are like, woohoo, we see you down there. Hey, you, do you want to come with us? You want to get on our yacht? But he's like, no, I'm not really dressed for the yacht. And I don't know if I have the money for that kind of thing. That's like, and that those people, I'm not really sure that yacht people are my people. I don't know if they're my crowd. So, you go on ahead. God will save me. So he goes back to praying and paddling and praying and paddling, and things are getting darker. And the water's getting choppier. And the winds are blowing really hard. And he just keeps praying. And a while later, a rescue helicopter comes by this time, fitted with one of those rescue arms, and they got the team and the divers, and they're all prepared to save him and take him home just in time. But he refuses, saying, well, how's that going to look? What's my family and friends going to say? I don't need help. I'm good. God will save me. Now, I know I'm exaggerating that, but many of you are probably like shouting, get in that boat. What is wrong with you? Like, nobody would do that. What an idiot, right? But if we're really honest with ourselves, and if I was honest with myself, I could look back. And have you ever had those times when you said some of those same things? When God gave you an opportunity and you didn't take it? When you've been praying and after you've been praying and asking and pushing, because you're so afraid. And fear gets in the way and your excuses get in the way. And how many times do they get in the way, right? And you look back and you think, man, I should have started investing years ago. Or this great product comes out and everybody's using it. And you're like, I had that idea for that product and I didn't do anything about it. I should have started that business. Or maybe you're like, oh, I wish I had bought that property a long time ago because now I would have been making bank. There is my family, my ancestors lived in this little tiny town in Wyoming. I mean, it's the middle of nowhere, but it's gorgeous. And several years ago, it really started picking up. And it's like the next, if you know Wyoming, it's like the next Jackson Hole. It's like the next hot town. Prices are going through the roof, bougie, high dollar price. And it's like, oh, if I had bought that land a while ago when it was dirt cheap, where would I be right now? So you might have felt the nudge, but you didn't do it. And ladies, it's time to wake up to the opportunity and take it, because this is it. This is it.
Yeah. This is it. That's so good because, honestly, the truth is, it's almost like God wouldn't have given you the nudge if he wasn't going to give you a way to follow it, right? It's like he's not going to leave you out in the middle of the ocean. He wants you to be wealthy and he wants you to have rest and he wants you to have a financial like legacy for yourself, for your family. And he knows that it's a storm gonna, that's gonna come, right? And he's calling you to get ready. He's calling you to get ready for yourself, right? Get ready for all the people that you're called to serve, right? All the people who can't hear my voice, right? It's almost like Noah, right? It reminds me of that story in the Bible about Noah, and he knew the flood was coming. And it's like God gave him those gentle nudges, right? That you were just talking about. He gave him those gentle nudges, and he knew he needed to get ready. He didn't know how long it was going to take. He didn't know how much work it was going to take. He didn't know if he was even going to have the time for it, right? He didn't even know. He didn't even know how to build a boat, right? Or what animals to put on or anything. He didn't know anything. But he knew that he got that inward nudge, right? That God was calling him to do something. And he knew that he had been called to a higher purpose and a higher calling. And when God says, build a boat, the rains are coming, he did. He got prepared, right? So even though, like you, he had a family, listen, he was busy, he had obligations, he had people depending on him, right? People were probably saying stuff like, what are you doing? Right? Have you lost your mind? What are you building? Why are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? Right? You're never going to amount to anything. Why are you even doing that? But he knew there was rain coming, right? And God was pulling him and calling him to to prepare the boat, right? So, you know, some of you may say, you're busy with, maybe your family, maybe responsibilities, and you may have close friends that's telling you, listen, you're crazy. What are you doing? Like you're doing too much. Learning. What is all this learning? You're on another master class. What are you learning about today? You can't do that. This is like wasting your time, right? This will never work. But you know in your heart that you felt that nudge and that the rains are coming and that you've been called to prepare, right? And that you can build a vessel of wealth for for yourself, for your family, for your community. And God would have never asked you to do it if he didn't think you could, right? So this is it. Don't wait. The time, like Michelle said, is right now. If you know you're called to do something, be the one who listens, who becomes that vessel, and who creates the vessel of wealth for your family, for yourself, and for others. In fact, tap yourself on the chest and say, I am called. I am the vessel, right? I am a wealthy woman.
Yes,
So the
mate.
question is, what legacy are you leaving? Right? What legacy are you leaving to the generations behind you? Right? In some families, you need to break the generational curse. There's all sorts of generational curses of poverty. There's all sorts of generational curses, and you may have that pull to be the one to break the generational curses. Right? So maybe you think to yourself, I don't know if I can do this, right? Like I don't know if I can be the one to stand in the gap for the next generation. But can I just tell you this, that if you don't do it, then that next generation is going to have to take care of you. And it's hard, it's a struggle, you are busy, it's not easy. But what if you don't do it? Who's going to do it? Right? How many generations are going to have to go by stuck in this generational curve of not having enough money, of not being able to build businesses, right? how many generations are going to be like stuck having the financial burden of their parents, right? Promising to their kids that things will be different. How many generations, right? So I say that, and Michelle, you told me a story. I think you say it so well. It's poor me versus Mimi. Is that what didn't you tell me something about that? Poor me versus Mimi.
Oh yeah, I was just always saying,
I love that.
we were talking about, the risky woman and the wealthy woman. And after a while, I just started naming these versions of myself, right? Of like poor me. The one who was the old me that I didn't want to be anymore I call her poor me, which is very fitting. And then the version of me that is rolling in the dough, the wealthy woman version, is Mimi, $1 million me. $1 million me. And poor me says stuff like, I can't do this. I'm too busy. I don't have blah, 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 blah. But really, like the higher version of you is the one that's got it together. And it's like, it's fine. This is worth it. I'm the one breaking the curse. I'm the one who's got it together, right? It's me. I'm strong. I'm breaking the curse. I'm a wealthy woman. And I know we've declared it. We've declared it. And we declared it. But it's something that kind of goes back to the foundation piece of, it's who you're being, right? That really matters. Like we're talking about money, and money is great. It's fantastic. We want to have this generational wealth, but ultimately it's because we want to be the kind of person that is wealthy. We want to be the person that can receive that wealth, that abundance. We want to be the kind of person that not only receives it, but has it. And then we can share it with other people and step into who we know that we can be. Because I promise, or I think if you're still hanging out with us, then there's more potential there that that you just are scratching the surface of your potential. So that's what we're out to create, not just helping women to create businesses and wealth, but like, how do you really become that wealthy woman at the core, the one who is the change maker? You are the curse breaker. You are the one that changes it for everybody, because the rains are coming. And Tiffany and I would love to go on and on and on, but we'd love to share with you, because several months ago, like I said, we did this survey in the group, and women said, but we don't have the money. We see it. We know we're wealthy women. We see it, but we don't have the money. And so we started asking ourselves, and Tiffany and I have this vision. Our higher calling is to create an army of women, an army of wealthy women working together, hand in hand, in these tough times coming ahead, so that we can help support everybody else around us. And we saw that this need for the funding, and that people just couldn't get themselves off the ground, right? And so we saw this need, and we thought, how do we help women? How do we help women do this? And they're asking, how do they need funding. They need to have the right foundation. They need funding, that they don't want to miss out on it. They don't have personal credit. What else can we do for them? What else can we do? What else can we do? And so we put together this 4-part system, all the pieces that we saw that we wish we had whenever we started, all the pieces that we knew, like, these things need to come together. And I don't know if you've seen different pieces. I've seen people sell different pieces. $2,000, like, here's a program to set up your business. It's $1,000, right? Unleashing the fund, that's another $2,000 to $5,000. I've seen someone sell this business credit piece, $5,000, right? Like, each of these programs, if you buy them individually, it's somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 for you to buy all these individually. But Tiffany and I are like, hey, you can't just have, you can't have this without this, and this without this, and this without this. They really come as a package. And so we saw them as separate programs, but we're like, we need all of these things together, right? Yeah. And so we put it into a course. And then we're like, okay, then these women, they need support, right? They need support, because who knows? Let's get real again, guys. You like getting real? Who here knows? I'm gonna tell you stuff people don't tell you, okay? Hope you like it, right? Who here knows that you can go on the internet and find all this stuff? You can go search out the lists, and you can dig around. You can search out the list. You can ask around. You can dig, all these things. You can put them all together yourself, right? But that's not the reason. Oh, that's the reason that keeps me stuck. Let me tell you, I hate to read a journal, right? But that's not the only reason that keeps us stuck. what keeps us stuck is, yeah, all the information is online, but which one's the right information? I don't know. In the information age, sure, ChatGPT makes stuff up all the time. How do I know it's actually telling me the truth, right? Right? So I don't know what the right information is. Plus, what if I bump into something and I don't know what the answer is? And I don't know about you, but I heard somebody say, who said they were tired? Anybody here that's tired? Anybody here's tired? Yeah. I'm tired. And who else is busy? I don't have time to go look all this crap up and sift through all the things and try to hope and pray and figure out, hope that I don't get it wrong the first time, right? All right. I don't have time for that. And I'm busy and I don't want to do it. And frankly, I'd rather just have someone do it with me. I don't know about you, but I'm like, it's way funner if I just have someone else do it with me. So we realized, hey, you need support, but you also need a community of women around you who can lift you up, and we truly can stand together to love each other. So the course and the community, and we meet together. And you need mindset, because that's a huge thing, right? We keep bumping up against our own barriers inside our head. And then there's the tech, and like, how do I fill out this form and that form and this form and that form? And then once you get the money, what do you do with the money? We realize, okay, that not everybody is super clear on what to do with the money, because you know how you can't get super clear when it doesn't feel like a reality. Sometimes you can't look at the next step because you're like, well, I just don't have the money. I just gave up and I haven't really looked seriously at the next step. So what we find is, we need to know what the next step is too. So what we did is we put together a program. Oh yes, the last thing, Tiffany, is that we thought, okay, and these women, they need money to make money, right? So we got to make this accessible to people, a lot of people. And our coaches fought us on this. They're like, you need to at least charge double what you're charging right now, because again, this is like $10,000, $15,000, and we keep throwing things in there, and we got the blueprint, and we got all the things, and they're like, you need at least charge double. And we're like, no, we want to make this accessible to women, because that is the problem, right? You need money to make money. And so is it okay if we kind of go through and show you guys what we came up with? If you are somebody that's like, yes, I'm in that boat, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to be a wealthy woman, I don't want to drag my feet digging around on the internet all day long, I want some extra support. If that's okay with you, if we share our screen, share a little bit about the program that we put together, tell you the price, all that stuff, is that cool with you guys before we wrap up tonight? Just like a little head nod or something. It's good.
Okay. And Michelle, my screen just froze, so I'm hoping
Laura
that you
says
all
yes.
can.
Yes. Victoria says yes. Laura says yes. Okay, cool. I actually don't have it up yet, but I'll get it up for you guys. So what we're going to do is you're going to go to unleashthefunds.com/wealthy women circle. And someone's going to type that in the chat for you. And then I'm going to share my screen and show you. So what we did is we wanted to make it accessible. So we've got it on 3 different levels. So like I said, it could be anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 if you buy all the things on your own. We know that some people want this super support, but then also make it accessible. So hold on, I'm sharing my screen. I promise one day I am. So we got it just broken down into 3 options. Okay, here we go. Let me know if you can see it. Let me know if you can see our beautiful faces on there. Okay. So the first package, we're calling out Forever package, right? So
it sounds like somebody is off mute.
I got it. Sure. Okay. So the first thing is step-by-step video course. We talked about that. We talked about the Wealthy Woman's Blueprint. You got money mindset Mondays. Say that 10 times fast. Office hours, all the things. Then we got the Facebook group. And then for this Forever package, what we put together in here. Oh, wait. Yeah, Stewie, I forgot to say about this. Like, what are we going to do once you have the money is we put together a 2-day event where we're bringing together all of these different experts on different ways that you can take the unleashed funds that you got and make them into more money, right? So obviously you're all at different places. Some of you have businesses, some of you are interested in real estate, some want to do fix and flip, some want to do other things. So we're bringing together a class. It's kind of a menu of, okay, what can I do with this money to make more money? Or we put that together. So that's included as well. And then also oh, there's a ton of other bonuses. We could go on and on and on, but we'll get into all the things. But also in this package, you get a personalized funding play. So again, some of you are in different places. Maybe your credit's good. Maybe, like Teresa said, okay, when can I apply again? How can I get more money? Where do I start? When, stuff like that. So we put together your personalized funding play. Then once you've got your unleashed funds, we sit back down to you again and put together a personalized funds to freedom plan, which is how do you take that money to make it into more money, right? And so it's a lot more one-on-one support. Plus, we've got a funding guarantee so you can stay in the program until you get the funding that you desire. So forever, just stay in the program forever. We want to make sure you get the funding that you desire, right? And a bunch of other bonuses that we've added on lately. So all of that, it comes down over $16,000 value. It's a $2,499 for that program. If not, if that program isn't accessible for you right now, you can join the membership on a monthly basis or a yearly basis. So it's $149 a month. Or if you join for the year, then you get 2 months off, $1,490. Okay, tongue twister, right? And then we've got a bunch of other bonuses that we're adding all the time. So we got a lender's corner, we've got partners who can come in and help you on the pieces that we can't cover, who we've vetted out some people who can help you. We've also got a construction corner coming on. So a GM, general contractor, is going to come and he's going to talk to us about, answer your questions about all the things. I can't even get all the things. Yes. What are all the things, Tiffany? Anything else to add?
Yes. So this is so good. Scroll back up to the top. I'm so sorry, ladies. My system froze. My entire system froze, but I'm not frozen, right? So that's good. All right. So like Michelle said, we have that forever package, right? So everything that we just walked through that you may have questions about, we already have it outlined for you in our membership portal. Right. So we have that Wealthy Women's Blueprint that Michelle's kind of put up, right? We have that, and we have that for every person that joins our Forever Elite package. Or actually, if you join the program, you get that. So that's going to come with all your templates. That's going to come with all your checklists, all your lenders. Everything is in there in order to unleash the funds, right? But we don't stop there. We go into Mindset Mondays, right? Can I just tell you that Michelle is like one of the best mindset coaches ever? It turns into like therapy, right? It turns into therapy in those mindset, and it really helps you to dig deep within and help you to figure out like what's going on and how can you really break the cycle, right? Because it's going to start with you. But with all of that, you may have questions. So we do bi-weekly office hours where you can come, you can ask any questions that you may have. We have that Facebook group, like Michelle was saying. Scroll down for me just a little bit, Michelle. So after the Facebook group, like she said, we have that personalized funding play, which is absolutely amazing. So some of you may say, now I have my personal information. Based on my personal information, what's the best play for funding? So we sit down, we analyze, and we give you your personalized funding play. We have a personalized funds to freedom plan, right? So how are you going to multiply your funds into millions? How? Well, Michelle is like an expert in that. So we do a personalized funds to freedom play. We have one-on-one chat support, like she was saying. Scroll down just a little bit. We do a funding, right? The funding, what is it called? What do we call it? The funding guarantee is also there. We do the one-on-one chat support. So everything that you need, like Michelle said, this is literally a $16,000 value, and it's only $24.99. Right? $24.99. Within the membership as well, we have that construction corner. We have a GC that's in the construction corner that gives you all information, all things building, fix and flip, if you want to do that, right? If you just want to rehab the house, if you have any questions about building, what contractor, how do you put together expense budget? Where can I go to find this materials? He will be there to answer questions. We also have lenders, right? We've vetted the best lenders, and we have them if you have a real estate project, if you have other projects, right? So we pretty much have our real estate ones lined up. Tomorrow, I'm going to a venture capitalist summit. I'm going to pull in some venture capitalists, right? So if you need that type of funding, Maybe you need funding to get your products into Target, right? Or maybe you need SBA loans, whatever. Those are all going to be put into the lender's corner, right? And then we have something so great, which is our partners corner. And we have partners that come in. So maybe we have, like, for example, we have someone who's going to do wholesale. So if you're interested in wholesale, listen, she is right there. We don't have to, pretend that we know our whole thing is funding, right? But we have the queen of wholesale that's going to help you to do wholesaling. We have someone who can, like I said, help you get your products, if that's what you do, into Target, right? We have someone who could do your branding, your website. Everything is going to be located inside of the members portal. So we do that all for $24.99. But maybe you say, listen, I can't afford $24.99 right now, but I still want to get in. You can still get in for $149 a month, right? You don't get, unfortunately, the personalized aspect of it, like the personalized funds, the freedom play, and the personalized, anything personalized. But what you can do is you can get in and you can start to build your business credit and you can get through the modules. And once you start to unleash funds, you can then invest in the higher ticket if you decide to, right? So we have all of that in there for you. Listen, if I can tell you that I've been on a ton of master classes, right? And you will not find this for the price. $24.99 is a steal, and you are in it for life, right? Until you get funding. I have people calling me on my cell phone. I have people texting me all times of the night, and we're talking about conditions and what loan, what lenders, all of that kind of stuff. And you have that type of access for now, right? For $24.99.
So good, so
$24.99.
good. Woo, woo. So I think we dropped that in there. And Teresa asked a question, how long are you giving us time to join? I think I read that wrong. I can't read. But yeah, how long do we have to join? That's a great question. I will say, well, I'm just gonna say this is it. The time is now. This is it, right? But if you want to give us a little more details on that, I can, or a little bit more about what you mean, or tell us, why you're asking. If you give a little more details, I can answer you a little bit better. But this program, it's open up till September 1st. The price is what it is as of now. Once we get more people in the door, once it gets like capacity, we can't help this many people the way that we want to help them, we're going to start, either limiting or increasing the price. But I will say the next 5 people who join, we're going to give you a bonus. We have a bonus training that will show you another way to unleash the funds, and it's how to get money without asking for it. It is fantastic. And you can do like, this is something that real estate investors, business owners use all of the time in order to get, $100,000, $30,000. I had a good friend of mine who wanted to join a really high level mastermind. She didn't have the money. She was like this is bad, but she was a nobody, guys. She had no money. She was a nobody. And she was able to get $30,000 in less than a week put together so that she could, without even using credit, so that she could join this mastermind that she really wanted to join. So that's a bonus to the next 5 people who join whatever program. I mean, it doesn't matter what level you join, you're going to get that bonus training as well. So lots of great stuff, So obviously you want to just get in as soon as you can so that you can get started, because again, let's be real. Sometimes we just like, oh yeah, I'm going to go back and do that later. And then, someday comes and someday comes and someday comes. So really, if it is in your power to do it now, then do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. That's a different bit. That's a different story we didn't share, but do it now, do it now, do it now, right? The time is now. This is it. This is it. And if you want to if you have any personal questions you don't want to ask here, if you want to private message us, if you have anything specific, if you need a special plan, like, we just really want to work with you so that you can get what you need. We break it down, all that stuff. So, for those of you, so we want to kind of wrap things up. And then if you want to stay longer and you want to hang out with us more, that's totally cool. We'll answer questions about the membership. We'll go deeper on things. You can raise your hand. You come on. You can talk to us. we'll be on here. We're here to serve you. So we're going to stay on. We just want to close out for everybody else who wants to go. We're going to close out. Tiffany, do you want to read? We just have a poem that we like to read. You want me to read it? Okay.
Please.
Yes. I'm going to poem. We're going to close out and then we'll stay for anybody who wants to stay. You can answer questions. Okay. So this poem says, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? It's the moment to start. Don't be afraid to do what you love. Step into the unknown, the untried, the unexpected. Take a chance. Life is calling you, inviting you to dance in the sun and the rain, to love and be loved, to embrace and be embraced. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let doubts dim your light. You are meant to shine, to spread your wings and fly. So go ahead, put yourself out there, take a risk. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Life is waiting for you to awaken to your true potential, to your purpose, to your passions. So don't wait any longer. The time is now. You are alive, wild and precious. Make the most of it. And that's Mary Oliver. And Joel Brown says, the greatest risk of life is not taking one. So thank you so much for coming, for joining us on Unleash the Funds class. Give yourself a round of applause. You guys are awesome. I really am we really are so inspired by you women. We really are. And we love getting to talk to you. Oh, I was going to drop our link. Tiffany, can you drop our link to our strategy session in the call in case you do have one-on-one questions, you need some clarification or anything special that you want to talk to us privately. We're going to drop our what is that?
Link.
Our call
and I think Micah has it too. So if Micah, if you could go ahead and drop it, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So go for it.
And we have a few questions that came up. So we do want to, for those of you that can stay, we have some questions that popped up in the chat. We're going to answer all of the questions that we have. Let me see. Unfortunately, I can see some of them. So I'm going to just start with the ones I can see. It looks like Shannon White said, do you need a personal guarantee? So I'm assuming that she means for the credit cards, and for the credit cards, yes, initially you do have to have a personal guarantee. But once you get your business credit established, you can get credit cards with no personal guarantee. So I hope that answers your questions. If you need clarity, more clarity, just drop it down in the chat. Teresa asked, these credit cards don't like you. The credit cards don't like you to apply for more than one at a time. How do you get around that? Typically, you apply in the same day. Right? That's what we see. If you apply in the same day or within 24 hours, you can apply for more than one card, right? We've had several people, lots of people who have done this exact same thing, right? They've applied for American Express in the exact same day, and it pulls, it doesn't repull your credit bureau, so it doesn't take those hits on the credit bureau for your inquiries. So that is a way around that. Looks like Teresa asked, she just did this, it sounds like a couple months ago. How soon can you do that again? So what you want to do is you want to have either your inquiries removed or you want to wait about 90 days. 90 days, right? And then you can do this again. But a good thing to do is have any inquiries removed from cards that you did not get approved for, right? So that is a way around that. Michelle, I can't see any more of Micah's questions. It looks like we do have more.
Yeah, I got she dropped them in our WhatsApp just for you. So do couples count as one in the program? That would be a yes. yes. We haven't discussed that, but yeah, if you guys are a couple, we're not going to charge you twice. So come on in and enjoy it. That will be safe for business partners as well. So just double check it with my partner on that one real quick. So then Teresa, you had so many great questions, Teresa. You're awesome. Thanks for coming. So good insight. So you said, I've got great credit, but must have gotten stuck with probably some credit score companies. Same credit score companies. Yeah. So they ask, how much money will you make a year starting out? We don't have cash flow. How are we supposed to answer those questions on the application? Yeah. So I'm going to let Tiffany answer this, but I do want to put in a quick, just general answer that, because we talked earlier about your business name too. And we're not saying go make up a bunch of lies and be sneaky about things, right? We're just saying real, right? So you want to be as real as possible with the credit card companies about your name. But like we want you to be honest, I guess is where I'm going with this. Like, we want you to be honest. We want you to do the right thing. That's what God wants. That's what we want We want it for you and all the things. So Tiffany, you can answer more specifically though.
Yeah. So you want to check with the credit card company. You can call the business credit card company line, customer service line, but most of the time that is projected numbers. Every time that I've called and I've asked, I'm a startup business. They can see you just started 3 months ago, right? And you're putting down $500,000. But they ask you, what are your projected numbers? So when they ask you that question, you want to clarify, are these projected numbers that you're looking for? If they say yes, you tell them what you project your business will make within a year.
Yeah. And if you, obviously, if you need some help on that, we can help you with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it would be, obviously you'd want to know a little bit of your strategy, what you're going to be doing, and kind of estimate those things out. So the next question, Victoria says, what about one late payment that stays on for a long time? Or what if you close an account? Like, how do those things affect your credit score? I'm guessing, is that right, Victoria? How does that affect it? What can I do about it?
Yeah, sometimes that happens. The further away it gets from the date that it happened, the better your credit is going to be. A lot of times you can call those companies though and maybe dispute it. Listen, I was late because XYZ, and they may take it off for you. If you try to do that and they won't, then you can, if there was a real reason, you can send the dispute to the credit bureau and see if they will remove it. Or you can look, remember, across the board, it needs to be the same on Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. If you see a discrepancy, you can tell them there's a discrepancy. It's a discrepancy with the date on, this trade line on, one of the bureaus, and they have to remove it from all of the bureaus. So there's ways that you can kind of get around it. We do have those templates in the Wealthy Woman Blueprint. So as you ladies join the Wealthy Woman's program, you will have access to all of that.
Excellent. One of the other things, I think we answered it already, but Teresa was just confirming that. I know it's like, we try to break it down as simple as possible, but it is coming at you fast too. So the things that we listed out are all different, right? Like the foundation obviously is easy to understand, personal credit, but personal credit and business credit are different. So I think whenever I asked the bank the first time, whenever I was just starting out, I think, so I think they were telling me basically, you don't have your business credit set up, so you can't get a business credit card under your business name. I think that's what they were saying to me. But I just didn't understand what they were talking about, right? Because your business does have to be around for a little while in order for you to build the business credit, because it takes time to build the business credit. Maybe I'm like, it's confusing people more. But anyways, the simple answer is yes, they're all different. And so personal is different than business. Credit and business, you can get a business credit card that's under your personal name, under your personal guarantee, or you can get a business credit card under your business name, which is ultimately preferable and has lower interest, higher rates, all the things that, like higher, what's the word? Limits. Higher limits, lots more good stuff. So, awesome. We want to celebrate. It looks like a few people are coming in. I hear I'm getting some private chats. I just joined. We're so excited for you. And yeah, especially looking forward to the strategy session. So those are super fun, and I said this before, but I don't know how much money I've paid in coaching. Actually, I did go add it up, and you don't want to know how much money I paid in coaching over the years. But with the reason that I keep investing in coaching is because, Tiffany, whenever I was just fresh into college, I had a major health crisis, guys. So I started my business as a health coach because in college I had a major health crisis. I had my digestion was so destroyed. I kept getting allergy after allergy after allergy and food sensitivity and food sensitivity. And it got to the point that every single morning I woke up. My words are really working today. Every single morning I woke up, I would just double over in pain because my insides hurt so bad every single morning. I was just sobbing every day. My husband, I was recently married. My husband's like, "Oh my gosh, what's wrong with you? What's happening?" Literally every single thing that I ate hurt my body. At one point, I finally went to a bunch of doctors. I went to a holistic doctor and she did this test and she's like, "Here's the list of 5 foods that you aren't allergic to." That you're not allergic to. Anybody been on a restrictive diet before? Okay. So needless to say, all this to say, I was in a tight spot and I didn't know how to get out of it. And the doctors weren't telling me how to get out of it. They didn't know what to do. I was trying to ask around like the lady at the holistic health center, like which supplement should I try? I was just like wandering around like crazy. I didn't know what to do. And at the time, there was no one person that had all the answers. There was no one program that I could find that had all the answers. And whenever I looked back, I realized it had taken me over 10 years to get over 10 years to heal. And I spent $15,000 trying to figure it out on little things anyway. Then it took me another 10 years to figure out how to stop binging and compulsive eating because I had that problem from all the stress. And so overall, it was 20 years and over $15,000 for me to learn how to figure that out, and all by myself. And whenever I started my business, I was like, if I can pay someone, if I can pay someone to tell me these are the 4 things, because it did end up being like 3 or 4 big pieces that I discovered. And that's another story. If you need some help on that, be happy to chat. But like there's 4 big pieces that I had to figure out and implement into my life. And now, just because I know you want to know, I've reversed all of my food sensitivities. My digestion is almost perfect. My skin that has been crazy and broken out because of all that is finally healing. It's starting to look gorgeous again, and it doesn't have acne anymore. And I just feel, and I was able to help a lot of other people with that same problem who came after me, and so it was worth every penny of the $15,000. I would pay it this second if I could just shave off those 20 years of learning curve that I had. And so that's why I personally continue to invest in coaching, because I know some people, and I have joined coaching programs that didn't ultimately work for me, that weren't great, that I kind of got scammed into, all the things. And I know that's a concern that I hear from some people. It's like, well, I've tried this, I've joined this course, and I've joined that, and I've done that, and they just haven't worked. And what I want to say to you is, don't give up. Don't give up. Just because you've had some that didn't work, it's okay. Whenever you learn how to ride a bike, you're going to fall and you're going to fall and you're going to fall. But the people who win are the ones that stay in the game.
Yeah.
And this is important to you. We know this is important to you, and it's important to your family, and it's important for generations to come. So if you've got to dust yourself off and try again, like, trust me, every entrepreneur has that. Every successful entrepreneur has this story of like falling down and almost quitting. You know what I mean? And so just don't get up. Just don't give up. Keep going, friends.
That's so good. So good. Did we have any other questions in the chat? Right? Did we have any other questions in the chat? I'm still frozen, unfortunately, but I would love to answer your questions. I'm not sure what happened. I would love to answer your questions about the membership program, about the construction corner, about the lenders that we have lined up waiting, right? Waiting to work with you, about the partners that we have, the personalized funds to freedom plan, or your personalized funding play. Any questions that you have, drop them in the chat. And I'm gonna see if Michelle can look and see if there's any more that we need to answer tonight. And if I'm so sorry, I'm like putting her to work for real tonight. But what do you see anything?
I have a couple more. I have one thing to say and a question to ask you, Tiffany. that I think I'm sensing. I'm drawing these out of your brain. You can also like wave your hand and like get on screen and talk to us if you want to. But one of the things I want to say is, again, we are so sensitive to like being in the places I have been, and making all the mistakes that I have been, right? Like we are sensitive to the place of you need money to make money. And maybe even the $150 is a bit of a stretch to get started. So, if money is a problem, if you're trying to figure it out and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I know this is the thing, but I need some help strategizing that. I need some help figuring that out. We are so creative. We can help you brainstorm ideas. We can help you talk to your spouse. We can help you do, like whatever. I have one of the most difficult spouses to convince, so I can help you on that front, right? And so if you need any assistance on that, then just give us a call. We'll be happy to help you in that area. And then the other question I have, Tiffany, too, is I think one of the things that people, because we serve so many people in business, in real estate, I think it's hard to kind of have a vision of, okay, now it seems possible. Like I can really see that it's possible. It's totally doable for me to unleash this money. But now I'm kind of afraid because I'm like, what do I do with that? And like, how I don't really have that vision out there. So I'm afraid to do this because I don't have this. And we kind of go over that in some of the things that we offer. But for example, what are some ways that you've seen either our clients or people our consulting clients, people in the group, how do they take that money and really create the residual income, the pipelines that these women are on?
Yeah. So people are taking this money, right? And we have partners that we work with. So some of our consulting clients are coming to us and they desire to build developments, or they desire to fund multiple properties, right? So maybe they don't just want to fund one property with the money that they unleash, right? Maybe they want to fund 20 properties or 50 properties, right, over a certain amount of time. So we show women how to put that strategy in place so that they can continue to fund out their properties. We have another client that desires to have a membership site. She wants to do public speaking. She wants to kind of do the exact same thing we're doing here, host a master class and have a membership site, and she needs help with that. So we show ladies how to take their unleashed funds and create exactly what they desire. We have ladies who might desire to take their product, and maybe it's a candle or a hair product, and they want to get that product in the Target, in the Walmart, in the CVS. And so we have partners that help with that. Right. Or maybe you desire to do wholesaling. Like this is something that you've always desired to do. You see a way that you can make a lot of money. You have the opportunity, but you need a little bit of guidance. We have a partner that will help you do your wholesale business, right? So either if we can't do it, we find women who can partner with us, who can help you take your unleashed funds and do exactly what you desire. I was speaking with another lady, and she said she wanted to do a franchise, right? So that's another opportunity. Some people want bigger cash, right? They want 500 to 1,000 to $1 million. So we partner with venture capitalists, right, in order to get you to point that you need to get to. But the biggest thing is, right, ladies, you have to have those basic foundational things together. Right. So if you come to me and you say, I want to get a real estate loan, I'm going to ask you, do you have your liquidity? Do you have your business set up? Right. And if the answer is no, I'm going to point you back to our foundation. So it's almost like you need to have those foundations. And that goes for an SBA loan, that goes for any sort of loan that you like, any sort of business loan that you get. If you're requiring funding, you're going to need the basics in order. So if you don't have that, ladies, then you can come to us. We will show you how to get the basics in order. But some people, they already have it together. They already have their business credit, which is phenomenal, right? They already know exactly what they want to do. They just need a strategy or like a roadmap in order to do it. And so we offer that as well, right? A strategy, a roadmap to get to the next level. So those are just a few things that, we offer. We've tried to make this program as broad as possible, not just for real estate, but certainly we have other partners that can come in and help. If we can't, help you, then most certainly we have people that we have vetted, ladies. We're not just adding random people to this group, right? We have vetted these ladies. We have watched these ladies. We see what they're doing. We know and we feel confident that they will take our wealthy women and help them to do what our vision, our mission is, right? To help them to create. Remember, we're trying to create a wave of wealthy women, an army of wealthy women, right? That come together, that bind together, that are moving forward, that breaking generational curses, that are helping the next generation, right? The standing in the gap, right? Because one thing, and we're trying to make sure that these ladies are motivated and they can go out and implement things. Because I heard somebody say, they said motivation, so we can motivate all day, right? We can motivate in this group, we can motivate on this live, but you have to eventually take a step. You have to take a step. You have to do the work. So this is what our program is all about, right? You can't just we've made this program where you cannot just sit in the program and get a lot of information. That's how we've created it. It's step by step, and you have to do the steps to get to the next step. So at the end of it, you'll have your business put together, you'll have business credit, you'll have your unleashed funds, and then you'll be able to take your unleashed funds and become a woman unleashed. Do you want to talk about that, the Woman Unleashed
Oh
program?
yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. So what Tiffany's referring to is um our Wealthy Woman Unleashed program. So that's like our private consulting clients. So like she said, there's a lot of different things that you need, and maybe you just need the strategy, maybe you need, right? And so we just meet with you if you want, if that's something that you want, make sure that your foundation is good, that you've got it in place. And then, yeah, like some of the ladies that we're working with right now, they're like, we've got 22 properties we're ready to buy. How do we strategize this? How do we get all these things here? Right. We've got, yeah, that membership site. We've got all these different things that we're doing. And the truth too is, if we can't help you, we'll find somebody else who does help you, who wants to help you better. I know I met with a client, potential client, just a few weeks ago, and we had like 2 or 3 strategy sessions together, actually, because it was just like trying to figure out what she wanted. And then ultimately I'm like, you know what, who would help you better than me? This lady right over here. And we met up, I introduced them, we had a quick chat, then she's taking care of them, that other lady's taking care of them, and they're like, yep, it's going great. And I'm like, fantastic, right? I'm here to see you win. I don't need to help everybody. I'm not going to be able to help everybody. We're not going to be able to help everybody, but we know somebody who can help everywhere, help somebody, right? And so that's the power of the community. And I was just working with, I have a CEO client in my signature stages business. I have a CEO client, and he has just dived into this AI thing that's happening, right? And he's just like, he's really big on this, like, this wave is coming, we've got to prepare, there's turbulence coming, and he helps people in leadership. And the program he was putting together was all about helping the leaders be resilient. And like, how are you going to weather, because COVID happened and that was crazy, and how are you going to weather the next thing? And so he says 2 things about resilience. And he gave this really cool story that I want to share, that he, like, the CEO guys, he was like in Antarctica, like he was on this cool voyage thing. And down there, what can happen is what is called a whiteout. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but there's a whiteout that can happen. So you're walking through the snow, and then it's like this sandstorm, but it's snow, obviously. So it's like this huge snowstorm comes, but it's so big, and the wind swirling around so much, and it's so disorienting that actually when it's happening, you don't know if you're up. It's like, you don't know if you're standing up. You don't know if you're lying down. You don't know which way's forward or backwards. Like, you lose all sense of your orientation whatsoever. You don't know how far away people are. You don't know if you're buried under the snow. Like, you don't know anything. And so this happened to him while he was there. And he's like, in that moment, all I had was me. Like, all I could do was come inside of me and find my strength. And he didn't say it in these ways, but like, all I could do was connect with the divine that's in me, because that's the only thing that I can anchor myself to. And so that's the first thing about just how do you weather uncertain times is, one, you got to be connected with yourself, obviously, to like know what you even want or what you're thinking. So many of us live outside of ourselves, but then also really connected with the divine, with God, to like really help us. He's the only one. I mean, I remember having this aha. I'm going to go on and on. Sorry. I remember having this aha not too long ago. My friend told me, all like half of the ocean life has been destroyed at this point. And they're predicting that it's only going to take another 50 years until it's completely wiped out. And when it's completely wiped out, basically the whole world is going to die, because the algae, like all the things, right? Like there's this reaction, this reaction, this reaction, this reaction. We're not going to have oxygen, basically. And so we're all going to die. And I'm like, this is insane, right? Like, this is insane. And I was like, literally the only thing we have is Jesus, right? He's the only one who knows what we're going to do. And I'm like, you got to come save us, because we are making a mess down here, And so all that to say, right, we've got Jesus and ourselves, we got that one thing. But then he was saying, in those uncertain times, the other thing you need is community, because you can't do it alone. And in the uncertain times, what you need is that network around you, that you can rely on each other and lean on each other to, work off of each other's strengths and support one another, so that you can get through this thing. Because maybe Tiffany has, amassed a bunch of money and she can help us, right? Or maybe I have been obsessed with food storage and I've got like 3 years worth of food storage in my bunker, you know what I mean? Or like somebody else has seeds, and I'm just like giving random examples, but you know what I mean? That together we're stronger, and together we can come up with ideas and just, troubleshoot together, whether any storm. So that was my long rant about all that, but I don't even know what we were starting with. Lost it.
That is absolutely amazing, though. And you're right, community. And I think about you and I and the community that we built, right? It's like sometimes when I'm not feeling it, Michelle is there to like, come on, Tiffany. And then vice versa. It's like sometimes when, I'm on it and I'm like, come on, Michelle. Sometimes you really do just need community to help lift you up, to help pull you up, to really help you, right? To help you stay engaged, to help you stay accountable. And so you can't really get lost in this community, right? We will reach out to you. If we don't see you long enough, we, just kind of have a thing where we're like, okay, well, what happened to her? Okay, well, let's reach out, see if she's gotten the funding, see, what step is she on, right? We have office hours that are working hours, right? So even on the office hours, sometimes we'll have working hours where we just pull out our checklist or, whatever the module is, and we start to go through every step, right? No one left behind. Does everybody have it? Does everybody have it? Have you done it? And then we're kind of open to receiving messages, and, like I said, I receive phone calls and emails just to make sure that you're actually getting the support you need. Sometimes you can get into these masterminds that are so big, 50 and 60,000 people, and you absolutely get lost, right? And so you just are stuck with information that you put on a shelf. We have built this where it's not information on a shelf, right? If you get into the program and you actually do the steps and come to the office hours, you will advance step by step in the right direction. In the right direction.
So good. Yeah. So good. Okay. I got one more thing if you guys are ready to stick around. But Tiffany, why I love money mindset so much is what I realized, it's not that like we said before, stuff's on the internet. It's not that you don't know what to do. And I used to, like I said, be a health coach, and I would harp on this all the time, right? Like, everybody knows that they should eat less sugar. Everybody knows they should be eating more vegetables. I mean, you kind of need a special plan sometimes, but for the most part, like, you should be exercising, you should be getting enough sleep, you should be eating, vegetables and healthy things for you. And that you should not be eating so much crap, right? And not laying on the couch so much, or whatever it is that your thing is, right? And no judgment here, because like I said, I was a binge eater. So like, no judgment. So that's not the thing. It's not knowing what to do that holds us back from the thing that we really want. it's knowing how to get ourselves to do it.
Mm,
Right. And
that's so good.
like whenever I was on the binging, when I had my binging problem, I was like, I know what to do. I know what not to eat. I know when I'm supposed to stop, but I just can't get myself to do it. And I couldn't figure it out for the longest time. And then whenever I finally figured out how to do it, then I was like, oh my gosh, this is how I get myself to do it. And I felt so free because it's like, not only do I know what to eat, but I know how to get myself to do it now. And that's why, to me, mindset is so amazing. And I mean, we could have a whole master class. Actually, if you guys want, I've got the recording. If anybody wants my like how to stop binging master class, I'll send it to you free of charge. But on the masterclass, I kind of explained that a lot of times, and this applies here. So kind of what I learned about myself and other people with binging is that you kind of have two minds. You have two brains. There's like two sides of your brain that are fighting with each other all the time, and that your brain is really divided, right?
Mm,
And so one part of you, I could give the food example, but like one part of you is like, Tiffany comes to my door with a beautiful plate of cookies, and one part of me is like, I've been really good today. I exercised a lot. I haven't had those in a while. I deserve this. Oh, just one won't matter, you know? And then the other part of me is like, girl, but you know what you're going to feel like later whenever you eat those? It's not going to settle well. And, if you eat too many, then you're not going to like that. And then sugar actually really makes me depressed. So it's like, when you eat sugar, you get depressed, so the other side of me is like, well, you got these goals and you want to be healthy and you don't want to be depressed and like all the things. And so you're like really are divided in your mind about it. And that's really the only reason that we can't get ourselves to do stuff. That was like the super high level, the super high level version of it. But basically, so with my eating food clients, I was like, whenever they bumped up against something, I was like, yes, we found one of the things on the other side, right? Like we found one of these limiting beliefs that's keeping you going back to the cookie, right? And so like, yay, right? Like, yay, you binged again. We figured out what it was, right? Or like, yay, we were working with one of our clients who's just like wanting to get out on social media, but she's like, ooh, I don't want to get out on social media because of XYZ. And it's like, yay, let's explore that, like let's
yeah.
figure it out, let's tackle it, let's like get that stuff in the past so you can keep moving forward. And there's no shame there, right? Like you're definitely, again, the bike analogy, you're definitely going to fall over, you're definitely going to run into walls, you're definitely going to like kick and scream, run on the other direction and try to hide and don't come and do the work and like all the things. And that's just all normal human behavior. And like, yay, like let's figure it out, we're hitting something. And on the other side of that is your life and your wealth and your future. So
Yeah.
anyways, so
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really good. Really, really good. Does anyone have any more questions? I know it's 9:39. We've been on here for 2.5 hours, ladies. If you have any more questions, drop them in the chat. Do you have any last words, Michelle, or
I could talk forever, but I'm getting pretty worded out. I just want to say thanks for everybody who did stay on.
yes.
It was such a pleasure. And again, like I wish we could go around and hug everybody and really get to know you all. Like that's what I love to do. And hopefully in the future we'll have like a together, like a real in-person thing.
Yes.
That is in the future, friends. I
Yes.
don't know when, but it's 100% going to happen. And
Yes.
so we love you. We'd love to help, just looking forward for all of you who did sign up, who are going to be in the program. Others of you, we'll see in the Facebook group. We'll serve you there. Reach out with whatever else we can help you with, and we'd be happy to serve you.
Yeah, so we do offer complimentary strategy sessions. I think Michelle said that earlier. It's unleashthefunds.com/strategy session. We would love to talk to you. If you have any questions, feel free to book a call, right? Just book a call. We will get on the line, kind of hear your story and find out if this program is going to be right for you. If you do desire to sign up and you don't want to sign up tonight, the membership will be open. I think we're going to keep it open for at least 48 hours. And then we'll be closing the membership for now, right? So I will drop the link in the Facebook group so you will be able to have it there. Also, the replay will be available, ladies. So you will be able to watch the replay, and that will come out in your email. And we'll also drop the replay link in the Facebook group. Ladies, we love to do this for you, right? We are serving you and we're so glad that you made it here. Thank you for staying on this long. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the Facebook group or send us a DM, and we would love to answer any questions that you have. For now, ladies, good night, and thank you so much for coming to Unleash the Funds. Bye, ladies.